The umpires tonight now are meeting at home plate, and this crew will be headed by Nestor Shalak Jr., who will be calling the balls and strikes tonight. 24 years, the dean of Major League umpires. This is his 5th World Series. Ed Sudol of the National League will be at 3rd, 21 years of service, number 2 in service. There you see Ed working at first base. At second base, it'll be Larry McCoy of the American League. He's a rookie in the World Series in umpiring. Jerry Dale of the National League will be at third base, another first-year man in the World Series. And down the left and right field lines, in left it'll be Jim Evans of the American League and John McSherry of the National League. The field is in very good shape. There has been no rain. They're expecting some rain later this evening, perhaps rain into tomorrow, as you see the dimensions of Yankee Stadium. 312 to the left field foul pole, left center, and 430. It's very deep out in left center, going right on into dead center, and over in the straight right center, it is 417 feet. The short porch that has become such a legend in Yankee Stadium is 310 feet down the right field line and 353 feet in straightaway right field. So the Yankees now have gone onto the field. Now let's check the batting for the Dodgers with Howard.
Okay, here's the Dodger lineup. Davey Lopes, the speedster, the great base stealer, will be leading off. He plays second base. Bill Russell, the shortstop. And batting third, perhaps the best switch hitter since Mantle and Rose, Reggie Smith. Batting fourth, the slugger, Ron Say. They call him the Penguin. Walks like a duck. Batting fifth, the steady-going one with the great power in the opposite field, Steve Garvey. He at 297. Then the hero of the National League Championship Playoff Series, Dusty Baker, had 2 home runs then, won a grand slam, had 291 on the year. After him, the young defensive whiz in center field, Glenn Burt. After him, the shotgun arm of Steve Yeager, the catcher. And, of course, after him, the feisty, confident pitcher of the Dodgers who's never lost a postseason game, Don Sutton.
Now setting the Yankees defensively in left field, Lou Piniella, good arm and better speed than you might think from a guy his size. Piniella in left. Over in center, the man who was electric during the American League Championship Series, Mickey Rivers, an arm that can be tested by these Dodgers. But in right field, it's Reggie Jackson, and he's got plenty of cannon for a throwing arm defensively in right field. At third base, Greg Nettles, as Bill White mentioned, he has a sore shoulder tonight. He may not be able to go all the way. We'll see what happens. He has a very sore shoulder. The shortstop is Bucky Dent, who came to the Yankees just before the season started this year, has done an admirable job. At second base, one of the fine young players in the American League, Willie Randolph. And over at first base, a man who has been so big in Yankee fortunes the last 2 seasons, Chris Chambliss, the big first baseman, swinging left-handed, good fielder. Thurman Munson, the captain of the Yankees, behind the plate. Tends to throw the ball sometimes a little sidearm to second, but he gets it there. And Don Gullett, who opened the playoff series for the Yankees, did not get the ball into the strike zone effectively, left with a sore shoulder, but he has fought back with heat treatments, and now suddenly here he is starting the ball game. And a year ago, he was the starting pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds against the New York Yankees. That's how the tides of fortune have changed so briefly and so recently in baseball. Davey Lopes up there with a 283 average on the season, and the first pitch is high, ball 1. This is the man that Don Gullett must try to keep off the bases, Tom Seaver.
Yeah, this is the guy that's the key to beating the Dodgers right here. Davey Lopes is the guy that makes this machine run. He's got good speed. He'll steal second base from you. He'll go to first or third if he gets on. And another thing that a lot of people don't realize, Keith, that he makes Bill Russell a much better hitter when he gets on first base.
Russell has been surprising in his bat effectiveness, having struck out only 43 times this year. And Lopes hits it high in the air, down the left side. The wind's got a hold of it, and it's going to take it away from Lou Piniella and drop into the stands foul. There is the first souvenir of the 1977 World Series.
When Gullett started against Kansas City in the American League Championship Playoff Series, he started very quickly as he did tonight. 2 quick balls, but followed it with 2 more. The shoulder was stiff. According to Dunn, the stiffness is worked out, and he's ready. His principal pitch, perhaps, is the forkball. Tom, describe the action of the forkball and why it's especially effective against righties.
Forkball is much like a knuckleball, Howard. Comes up there, and it'll flutter as it comes to home plate, and it will sink. Johnny's base pitch is his fastball. That's his bread and butter pitch.
The 2-1 pitch to Davey Lopes is high. It is now 3-1. The book on Don Gullett in his 1 appearance in the playoff series for the American League title. 2 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, all earned. He walked 2. 3-1 pitch to Lopes, high, ball 4. Davey is on.
That's a no-no, Keith, right there. You just can't walk that guy, especially Dave Lopes. I mean, he's in the class with the Lou Brocks and the other guys in the league, the Pete Roses that make things happen for their ball club. And he's the key to making this Dodger team roll.
In 1977, Lopes has stolen 47 of 59 bases. The batter now is Bill Russell, the shortstop. Russell hitting behind Lopes, number 2 in the order this year. He batted number 8 last year. He shortened the stroke a little, and he fouls the first pitch away for strike 1.
Very first pitch, you see Russell trying to hit that ball in that hole between Willie Randolph and Chris Chandler. There's a hole out there to right field.
First law of the game, advance the baseman.
Again, the effectiveness of Russell, 634 at-bats, struck out only 43 times. He made contact to protect the speedster on the base. The outfield, Rivers in center, particularly playing him shallow. Lopes on the right side of your screen, the pitch. Hit into the hole, it's gone through. It'll make go to the wall. Russell got all of it. Lopes is coming around third. He's going to score. Russell, he's heading for third base. The relay comes in. The Dodgers take the lead 1-0. A triple for Bill Russell. And Rivers, playing shallow in center field, had no chance in the world to get through it.
Took the Dodgers very long to get on the board. Billy Russell hit him with no balls in the strike here. A fastball right up in his eyes. He can't throw him that pitch there. That's going to be in the alley, and that's like the Grand Canyon out there. There's so much room in the alleys in this ballpark. Lopes scored very easily from first base.
Reggie Smith now with nobody out, 1 run in, takes high, ball 1, and Billy Russell sitting on third base. Reggie Smith steps out of the batter's box now with a 307 average on the season, and Billy Martin goes to the mound to talk to Don Gullett. He can't afford to let Gullett get hammered around too much.
Exactly the point. He had that problem all year long. It seemed that forever the Yankees were fighting back. Russell did find that Grand Canyon, as you said, Tom, and you put your finger on the nub of it. When Gullett comes in high, as he did with that pitch, he is looking for a quick exit. You've got to pitch them low. Nobody knows that better than you.
Well, if he wants to throw high, Howard, he's really got to pop the ball. He's got a good enough arm to pop it. But you've really got to throw hard to be able to throw upstairs.
Billy Martin wants that left-hander to stay there a while because right-handed this year, Reggie Smith hit 5 home runs and 15 runs batted in. Swing and a miss for a strike. Left-handed, however, he's hit 27 home runs and knocked in 72. So he is much more of a free swinger from the left side and more productive. 1-1 pitch. High and inside. It's 2-1 to Reggie Smith. As Davy Lopes walked to lead the inning for the Los Angeles Dodgers, Billy Russell tripled him home, and Russell now sits at third with nobody out. And Dick Tidrow is already up in the Yankee bullpen. He's the middle or long relief man for the Yankees. High. 3-1.
Gullett having all kinds of trouble getting that ball down, looking much as he did in the opening inning against Kansas City. You'll remember he went out in the second. They got 2 in the first off him, 2 in the second.
The left-hander from Malone, Kentucky, misses again. Ball 4. He has walked 2 and given up a triple in the top of the first inning.
Keith, Billy doesn't need this. He went through a lot of pitching down in Kansas City in the Championship Series playoffs, and he needs this pitcher right now, Don Gullett, to give him a good 6 or 7 strong innings. He can't afford to get in that bullpen in the first or second inning because they're tired. Those pitchers out there need a rest.
Number 4 man in the order, Ron Say, third baseman up, had 30 home runs. He hit a grand slam against the Phillies. He hits this one a mile high to left field. Lou Piniella going back. He's going back. He's got room. He makes the catch. Russell tags, and the throw comes in. The Dodgers lead 2-0.
Let me say that in most ballparks, that would be a home run to left field.
Well,
Not in this ballpark.
Ronnie Say's pretty happy he drove in a run, but if they hit that ball in Dodger Stadium, they'd be ahead, what would it be, 3-0 right now, or 4-0 right now?
4-0.
Steve Garvey, the Dodger first baseman. 297, 33 homers, 115 runs batted in. Garvey coming to the ballpark said, here is the park where you want to hit the line drive. The ball carries in the alleys well. The winds swirl in the outfield. 2-0 Dodgers. Top of the first, Reggie Smith on first base. And it's ball one to Steve Garvey and a concerned Billy Martin in the New York dugout. Tom Lasorda at the third base side in the Dodger dugout.
If there's a difference between Say and Garvey, it's that Say is almost strictly a pull hitter, where Garvey has tremendous ability to hit to the opposite field and the long ball to the opposite field.
High and outside, ball two. Dusty Baker is on deck as Steve Garvey has a look down the third base line at Preston Gomez, the coach there. Jim Gilliam coaches at first. Dick Tidrow warming up in the Yankee bullpen. Reggie Smith coming off first base. 2 runs are in, 1 man out. Garvey checks and takes it. It's 3-0.
How do you pitch Garvey, Tom?
Is this my trade secrets that I've got to give away? You know, Don Gullett is throwing 94 miles an hour. He's really popping the ball. He's throwing the ball right down the middle of the plate.
Like that.
You cannot pitch behind. Now, he's been 3-1 here. He was behind Reggie Smith. He was behind Davy Lopes to lead off the game. One of the cardinal rules of pitching is that you cannot pitch behind. These hitters are too good. If you give them that much edge where they're going to sit on that fastball 3-1, it doesn't make any difference how hard you throw it.
Smith going. Garvey swings and misses. They got Smith hung up. And down he goes. So Reggie Smith caught in a rundown between first and second for the second out. Reggie got a decent break off Gullett. Had he kept going, he might have had a shot at it. But he chose to come back, and from that point on, he was dead.
The Dodgers have a luxury of a 2-run lead right here in the first inning. Tommy Lasorda is going to take advantage of it.
Right.
He can play hit and run. He can go ahead with a 3-1 count and let Steve Garvey take a shot at that hole over there. He's not usually going to run Reggie Smith. But he's got the luxury of that situation where he can, and then there's Don Gullett walking another man.
That is the third base on balls here in the top of the first inning by Don Gullett as Garvey now goes to first. So that commitment by Reggie Smith, a little bit expensive. Otherwise, he might have been sitting out at second base with 1 out. Now here comes one of the most dramatic figures in all of baseball for 1977, Dusty Baker.
Especially when you think of what he went through a year ago. He had the damaged knee. It was a tremendous disappointment to the Dodgers, who acquired him in a trade from Atlanta. But then knee surgery, and this year the great resurgence, and of course the hitting hero of the playoff series.
He also had a grand slam home run. Hits this one hard to the left side. Nettles goes to second the short way to get the lead runner, and the inning is over. But the Los Angeles Dodgers punch through against Don Gullett, and they take the lead at the top of the first inning, 2-0, with the Yankees coming up with those 3 hitters.
Mickey Rivers, the man who ignites the Yankees, leading off. He had 326 on the season. Willie Randolph, the all-purpose athlete, at second. He can hit and run, believe me. Thurman Munson, last year's MVP in the American League, batting third, the catcher. Reggie Jackson, the controversial one in right field, 110 RBIs. Chris Chambliss, the man who won the pennant a year ago with his home run. Then Greg Nettles with the damaged shoulder from the George Brett imbroglio the other day, batting sixth. And after Greg, Lou Piniella with his .330 average, batting seventh. And after Lou, Bucky Dent, the shortstop, and then the very problem mentioned by Bill White, the assumption of pitcher, Don Gullett, because in the American League, all year long, designated hitters. Here's Keith, the play-by-play.
All right, and it's Mickey Rivers, Willie Randolph, Thurman Munson, the top 3, as the Dodgers will set them for you defensively as soon as we get past Mickey Rivers here in the bottom of the first inning, with the Dodgers having taken a 2-0 lead, and the first pitch is ball 1 from Don Sutton. It was a breaking pitch. Get on the ground to the second baseman, Davy Lopes, and he throws him out. The Dodgers have Dusty Baker in left, Glenn Burke in center, Reggie Smith in right, Ron Say at third, Bill Russell at short, Davy Lopes in second, Steve Garvey at first, Steve Yeager catching, and Don Sutton doing the pitching. There's the lineup, and you've got 1 out. Willie Randolph, with a .274 average on the season, stands in from the right side looking at Sutton. And he just misses for ball 1. Dick Hauser is the coach at third, and Bobby Cox at first base for New York. On the corner, and Nestor Shylock gives it the big right-handed call. It's 1-1. Don Sutton, who works in broadcasting in the off-season. Low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Don, born in Clio, Alabama, grew up in Pensacola, Florida, now lives in Calabasas, California. He's another hard-headed dude out on that pitching mound. Pulled down to third baseman Ron Say. Ronnie throws him out. 2 down. The captain of the Yankees coming to the plate now, Thurman Munson. Here's the play at third by Ron Say. They call him the Penguin. It's noticeable when he runs more than anything else, and that he does not lift his feet very high off the ground.
He's the guy the Dodgers tried to deal off. I've told the story before. They thought they had him sold to Milwaukee. Frank Lane was then a very important factor in the Milwaukee front office, and he said, "We ain't buying no duck."
Now he's sorry.
That duck hit a lot of home runs this year.
He sure did.
He got to waddle around the bases quite a bit.
Munson hits it high in the air. Coming back, chasing it, Steve Yeager to the dugout steps. It's in the crowd. Thurman, in 1976 against the Cincinnati Reds, was really the only effective Yankee offensively. He hit .529 on 9 out of 17.
He's an amazing competitor, Keith. He really is. He's been unhappy all year long. He hasn't shrouded it. Yet on the field again, he had a 300-year, many clutch hits, holds the ball club together. He is the guts and glue of the New York Yankees.
The Dodgers give him the gap in left center field. Defensively in the outfield, and Sutton comes outside with a fastball. I'm a little surprised at the outfield alignment, Tom.
Well, this is probably the way they're going to pitch him. I think I talked to Donnie yesterday. He said he's going to pitch him away, let him hit the ball out there. He doesn't want to give him anything inside in there to hit.
Well, he just did. He got that one inside, and Thurman spanked it to left field for the first base hit of the ball game for the Yankees.
Especially, that's the pitch that he can hit the ball out of the ballpark if you get the ball in on it.
Ron Say, good defensive third baseman. Good quickness. That ball was really hit like a bullet. Say didn't miss it by all that much.
It looked like a sinker or a slider that maybe hung inside, but that's a pitch that Don Sutton, I'm sure, did not want to throw.
Here's the complex, sensitive man who had so many ups and downs all year long. At one point said, "I don't want to play here next year." But in the long run, the last 6 weeks, strike one. Oh, how he came through. Wound up with 110 runs, batted in 32 homers.
He put on a decent display in batting practice tonight, too, as he ripped one after another into the right field seats. That pitch is low. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Don Sutton and Reggie Jackson have faced each other previously in World Series play in 1974, when Jackson was playing with the Oakland A's.
Got a double, a single, and a walk. I asked Sutton about it. Sutton said, forget the double. It was a check swing.
And the walk, he said, my mother didn't raise any food. 1-1 pitch to Reggie Jackson with Munson on first base, and the pitch is inside. He checked on it. It's 2-1. Or 1-2.
He was injured when Seaver had a pitch against him.
2-1.
Reggie Jackson was injured? He had 2 doubles off of me.
I know.
Bring it up until you mentioned it. Drove in 2 runs in the game that we ended up losing to the Athletics 3-1.
Munson edges off first base. 2-1 pitch to Jackson. He checked on that one. He looped it into short center field for a base hit. Munson coming around second, heading for third. He'll go in standing. And Jackson is on.
Well, he's a check swing master against Sutton, Tom.
You can't do that without being a strong man. That's any other man, that's going to be a pop-up either to the pitcher or to the shortstop. Reggie Jackson is so strong, he can hang with that ball and knock it over the infielder's head. That's a frustrating thing for a pitcher. Don Sutton is a real pro, and you're not going to let something like that upset him. He's Mr. Cool on the mound, and he's in a tough situation right here, even though he's ahead 2-0, but he's got men on the corners.
With 2 out, the pitch to Chris Chambliss. Pulled to right field, base hit. It's a 2-1 ball game as Thurman Munson comes in to score.
So we've got all the excitement you could ask for and all the excitement we expected. The Yankees and Dodgers at it again in the World Series, just the first inning. And Bill White talked about the need for the Yankee left-handers to hit in the pregame show. This is exactly why they didn't hit against Kansas City, but they are hitting so far here. Jackson and Chambliss proving the point. The storyline develops.
Greg Nettles at the plate. Yankee third baseman takes a breaking pitch inside. This is a guy that'll knock a fastball out of the county. You cannot feed him a dose of fastballs. He'll knock your head off. Chambliss on first. Jackson at second. 2-1. Dodgers lead. Yankees striking back here in the bottom of the first against Don Sutton. Inside, breaking pitch. And it's 2 balls and no strikes to Nettles.
You don't want to do that to Greg Nettles. A dead fastball hitter, and he can't hit it out of the county, Keith, because I played with him before. I played with him up in Alaska. There's Lasorda on your picture, too.
Don Sutton, not as overpowering with the fastball as he might have been at one time. Spot pitcher. He's now gone to 3-0 to Greg Nettles. Lou Piniella is on deck should Nettles get aboard. Jackson off second. Chambliss off first. 3 balls and no strikes to Greg Nettles. Strike. So the cripple was in. It's 3-1.
Funny, Keith, I can't see any problem with Don out there. He's gotten behind Greg Nettles, which he hasn't wanted to do. He looks like he's throwing very well. It's very difficult for me to tell up here. This is as far as I get away from a pitcher's mound, and it's very difficult for me to tell this far away. But he looks like he's all right to me.
We had him on the Judd's gun, Tom Seaver, at 88 miles an hour, so he is fast enough. Swing and a foul off Steve Yeager.
Don Sutton is not an overpowering pitcher. He's not a guy that's going to throw 98 miles an hour or 94 miles an hour, but you're going to have to hit it a fastball, a good changeup, a curveball, and a good slider, and he can get any one of them over at any time.
And is a nibbler.
He has outstanding control. Excellent control, and he usually does not pitch behind.
Dodger bullpen has not moved. 3-2 pitch coming to Nettles as Jackson and Chambliss edge off. They're running. Pitch is bounced to Bill Russell at shortstop. He goes to first baseman Steve Garvey, and the inning is over. But the New York Yankees strike back in the bottom of the first inning after 1 complete inning of play at Yankee Stadium in the opening game of the 1977 World Series. Los Angeles 2, New York 1. Yankee Stadium from high in the sky, not quite as symmetrical down on the field as it might appear from that distance, and it's full of folks. Oh, is it ever? For the Dodgers, Glenn Burke, Steve Yeager, and the pitcher Don Sutton. Glenn Burke playing center field tonight, recalled from Albuquerque in 1977, June 3rd, replacing Al Downing on the roster. Signed a contract, his first World Series appearance. He takes the first pitch in the World Series from Don Gullett for ball 1. 2-1, the Dodgers lead the Yankees as we go to the top of the second inning. I'll tell you, Mr. Gullett reached in for that one.
He really did. That was a Gullett pitch when Gullett's right.
93 miles an hour on the Jugs gun. He has the quickness. It's a matter of getting it where he wants it, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike as he came inside there.
When you look back on the inning pitch by Sutton, Tom, he had some tough breaks. The check swing single, the Chambliss ground ball with eyes.
Gullett is throwing hard. I'm sitting here looking. I'm looking on the monitor here. It's tough for me to tell when I look down to the field. That pitch went right by Burke. That one went right by Burke. He is really bringing it up there, isn't he? He got up to 95 miles an hour on that pitch. In the dugout, that's known as bringing it.
If you're hitting, it's called help. Or trying to hit it. Got it.
Powder River, fastball, right in there. He looks exactly the same as he did when he was pitching for Cincinnati. Good hard thrower right over the top.
First strikeout in the ball game. Here is the Dodger catcher, Steve Yeager.
That made Billy Martin happy, I want to tell you.
I would think.
He is really throwing out there. This is a beautiful night for a pitcher. I mean, it's about 60 degrees. It's a good night for hitters, too. But this is a refreshing kind of temperature to pitch in. You don't get sapped because of the real hot weather and humid weather. And it's not cold enough where you're going to stiffen up.
Gullett comes high on his first pitch to Steve Yeager. They're going to start calling old Steve scrap iron one of these days. He has survived 2 severe injuries and a near mortal collision from Dave Parker of the Pittsburgh Pirates this year. Foul back here. New ball goes to the mound. This program, an exclusive presentation of ABC Sports. Let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves. The Los Angeles Dodgers lead the New York Yankees in the top of the second inning of play in game number 1 of the 1977 World Series by a score of 2-1. Glenn Burke struck out to lead this inning, and now here's Steve Yeager, the Dodger catcher, taking a pitch that sailed way outside, and it's 2-1. Don Sutton, the pitcher, is on deck. No DH in this World Series. No designated hitter. It goes on an alternating basis. They used the designated hitter last year. This year, the pitchers will hit. And there's Sutton sitting on deck, waiting. Yeager swings and misses.
Yeager knew it was coming in. He's a good fastball hitter. Threw it right by him.
Gullett, who walked 3 men, gave up 2 runs and a triple in the top of the first inning to the Dodgers for their 2 runs, has settled some here in the top of the second. I'm sure that Don had to be a little anxious, too. Had to be a little tight, perhaps, wondering if he was going to be able to get past the first couple of innings. Yeager hits it on the ground to the shortstop. Bucky Dent playing him in the hole. Throws it out. Bucky Dent, who came over from Cleveland, moving into the hole at shortstop, had plenty of time to get the Dodger catcher. Made a good play out of it. Here is Don Sutton. A 151 batting average on the year, but Don generally will get some bat on the ball. I say Cleveland, I meant Chicago. He came from the White Sox. There have been times when Sutton has helped himself tremendously in baseball games. Of course, right now, the bases are clean with Sutton up there, but time and again, I've seen him walk up there and just stick it out there and pop it.
You're right. He can hit on occasion. So can Tommy John, like Tom Seaver in our booth.
Swing and a miss. It's 1-1 to the Dodger pitcher.
First time Tom came back to Shea Stadium this year is going against his old friend Jerry Koosman. And he knocked in the first run of the ball game. Shot one down the right center alley. Koosman drooped.
Back 2.
Sped in the second baseman, a double. And 3 home runs this year, Howard. I've got to get that on you. I had
That's
3
right.
home runs.
That's when Koosman said, trade me.
Swing and a miss, and the Dodgers go in order in the top of the second inning. As Gullett strikes out Burt Sutton and gets Yeager to ground to shortstop. It's 2-1 Dodgers after 1.5. The bottom third of the order for the New York Yankees, it'll be Sweet Lou Piniella. Those are not Lou's, folks. Those are Lou's. They love it. He had 330, 12 home runs, and 45 runs batted in. He'll be followed by Bucky Dent, and then the pitcher, Don Gullett. Wants another hard hat as he comes out there tomorrow night. The Yankees and Dodgers, same time, 8 Eastern time.
And an interesting development, Keith, starting for the Yankees tomorrow night. Jim Catfish Hunter, who's been idle for so long, has had so many ailments all year long. Such a disappointing season. But they think he's ready now, and he thinks so, too.
Piniella hits it high and deep to left field. Baker goes over. Here comes the center fielder for the Dodgers, Glenn Burke, and he makes the catch. And Piniella got most of it, but it got up in the wind. It had too much height and not enough bat. Burke brought it down.
A great pitcher, Tom, develops an image, even as you have. And, of course, Catfish is one of the greatest of all modern-day pitchers. And they remember how the Catfish has been in every key game, including the opening game in the American League Championship Series a year ago. So they think he will frighten the Dodgers at the very least.
Bucky Dent, the Yankee shortstop, takes a pitch from Don Sutton, breaking pitch low. Bucky came from Chicago in 1977 in the Oscar Gamble deal. Both men done well, their respective teams. As a strike, it's 1-1.
The things about playoffs and World Series, Howard, and guys like Catfish Hunter and guys like Don Sutton, they come up. They are the professionals in the game today, and you don't have to give them that pat on the rear end. They're going to be there. And a guy like Catfish Hunter, who has been there so often and done so much, he's going to do a good job tomorrow. You got to name Catfish Hunter as your starting pitcher.
1-2, the count on Bucky Dent. Just missed. It's 2-2. There's James. There's having a bit of a chew with the towel wrapped.
Taking a nap tonight.
Well, he's got enough country in him. He believes he can get you out somehow, no matter how much he might be hurt. Hard shot left side. Great play, Ron Say. Scoops and throws. Got him. Watch the Cougar over at third as he makes the play. I prefer to call him a Cougar.
Cougar?
Yes.
I was wondering about that.
You should have seen him upset after USC jumped all over his alma mater. Of course, we've got a little Trojan sitting over here doing all the giggling. You know?
Yeah, Keith,
what happened Saturday?
That's what question I asked you when I saw you this morning. What happened to my Trojan Saturday?
Easy. They lost.
Don Gullett up, looks, it's high, ball one. Top of the order is on deck and Mickey Rivers with 2 out and nobody on. A 2-1 ball game, Dodgers lead. We are now in the bottom of the second. Swing and a miss. Well, that's a little better swing than he used to have.
Gullett is, there's Mickey Rivers, leadoff hitter on deck. Gullett is a good athlete, and he was a good hitter for the Cincinnati Reds. He was a good all-around athlete. And even though he hasn't hit all year, he's going to do a decent job. That ball just fouled down the right field line. He turned on that high heater. Sparky Anderson really liked this young man. He said he was one of the finest all-around athletes that they ever had.
Quiet, but effective. Don Sutton comes to the plate. Gullett swings. Ball bounces loose. Yeager goes to Garvey, and the inning is over. And so the Yankees go in order in the bottom of the second inning. So after 2 complete innings of play, it's Dodgers 2, Yankees 1. There is a box loaded with bosses.
That's true. Bowie Kuhn, baseball's commissioner. Leonard Golinson, chairman of the board of ABC. And Elton Rule, president of the conglomerate ABC. Golinson with a happy smile. He's just seen the latest prime time rating. And that's Tom Seaver's boss.
That's my agent right there.
I'd like to know his barber.
They can't knock Bowie this year for not wearing a top coat, although Leonard was wearing one, Keith. Top coat's not needed tonight.
Beautiful night. Don't need him tonight.
Top of the order for the Dodgers now is go to inning number 3. Davy Lopes, Bill Russell, and Reggie Smith. Davy Lopes, who walked the lead and scored one of the 2 Dodger runs. Rhode Island is home. And Davy takes. Oh, strike 1. Providence, Rhode Island, now lives down in Culver City, California.
We had good shots of both pitches just before the game started.
Outside.
And it seemed to me, as an onlooker, that the nervousness in Gullett was registered in the face, in contrast to Sutton. What's your view, Tom?
Looked like it, a base in the high fastball. Couldn't quite get the fastball. He couldn't get his arm through. He is definitely settling down now. He's throwing awfully well.
Count is 1 ball and 2 strikes to Davy Lopes. Well, he had to be concerned, my goodness, after struggling for so much, being hurt all season, and having this opportunity.
Well, there's no player on the field, Keith, that's not nervous.
And he just caught Davy Lopes looking with a fastball thrown right home, right down the heart of the plate.
That's the important point to make, I think, Tom, that they're all nervous because they're all humans.
At the start of the game, everybody in that field is nervous. The only person that might not be nervous would be Catfish Hunter. I've never seen him get nervous on a baseball field. But everybody, all those kids out there have got to be nervous. They're not kids, all those professionals. It's in your blood. You work so long, you work all summer, you start in April, and here it is, World Series time. And there's just no way not to be nervous.
Gullett has now fanned 3 of the last 4 batters he's faced since his trouble in the top of the first inning.
With all fastballs.
A 1 ball, no strike pitch to Billy Russell, who had a triple his first time up and a run batted in. Yogi Berra in the Yankee dugout. There's another guy that have a little trouble getting nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just saw the camera. Now he's nervous.
He still grins every time he sees Don Newcomb.
Thinks of coming back.
Yeah.
Russell pops it high in the air, foul out of play, and it's 2-1 on the Dodger shortstop.
Let me tell you, if Big Newt came back, Yogi would. As the meticulous little southpaw's personality has infected this whole Dodger team, given them the spirited leadership that led them to that huge pennant victory over the Cincinnati Reds, who going into the season seemed invincible.
He is an outright cheerleader.
That's right.
There isn't a thing wrong with having a few of them around the game of baseball.
I'll tell you one thing, don't think that he doesn't love it here. He loves being on stage, and he loves center stage, and that's exactly where Tom Lasorda is, right here in front of 55 some odd thousand people, millions watching on TV, and he loves every moment of it.
The appeal to the umpire down the first base line, and he says no.
That's my friend Ed Sudol, umpiring at first base tonight. One of the senior umpires in the National League.
21 years of service. 2-2. Russell hits it out into right center field. Mickey Rivers over for it. Got it. 2 down. Batter now, Reggie Smith, the Dodger right fielder, as Thurman Munson has gone out halfway to the mound to have a visit with his pitcher, Don Gullett.
The interesting thing about this Dodger team this year, Tom, has been the fact that they have not been as defensively proficient as usual. They're probably the best school team in baseball, and fundamentals always have been, dating back to Mr. Rickey.
Dodgers have always been a great organization in that sense, Howard. They
Right.
really stress fundamentals, and if there are times, I think it might be more of a mental lapse than anything else, because physically they can do the job, but defensively they have fallen apart at times.
Especially in the playoff series.
Reggie Smith walked his first time, caught in a run down between first and second. Gullett comes inside with the blazer, and Smith gets out in a hurry. This is the second World Series for Reggie Smith. He played with the Boston Red Sox in 1967 when he hit .250.
But you go to Vero Beach and watch the Dodgers train. Boy, do they work the cutoff, the pickoff, the hit and run. Every aspect of baseball, every nuance. They work it to an icing.
Hard shot left field. That's in front of Lou Piniella for a base hit. And so Reggie Smith is aboard with Ron Cey coming up.
One of the interesting things, as you know, Keith, about this Dodger team, a disciple of Mr. Rickey's, is the general manager, Al Campanis. Tommy, I don't know if you know this, but Campanis has all of Mr. Rickey's speeches on cartridges. And twice a year he brings in Tommy Lasorda to listen to them, and other members of the Dodgers team, too.
Well, this is the finest organization for fundamentals, and it doesn't make a difference how good your players are. If you don't do the fundamentals correctly, you're not going to win, and I think the Cincinnati Reds proved that to themselves this year. Sparky Anderson has already told me that the spring training rolls around for his club in 1978. Right back to the basics of the game of baseball, rundowns and cutoffs, and the very basic fundamentals of baseball.
Ron Cey with a sacrifice fly, first time up, looks, it's high and away with Reggie Smith on first base, and Smith can run.
And the fundamentals for Sparky Anderson, Keith, we're telling Tom, you'll get 38 starts at least next year.
That's what I've been told.
All right, watch Reggie come off first base. Caught the first time he tried to move it. Ron Cey hits it a mile high on the left side. It's hanging up there, and it now goes back into the crowd. And you got folks risking $500 suits for a $5 baseball.
Your suit didn't cost nearly that.
Given to me, as a matter of fact, by Rune Arledge.
His suits certainly don't cost $500.
Outfield pulled to the left, and Piniella way back there, right close to 380 feet. With 2 out, Smith edging off first, and the pitch is high and away to Ron Cey. See the outfield alignment, Piniella well around to the left, Rivers pretty much straight away in center, Jackson straight away in right. Cey's going to hit it out. He's going to have to pull it a little bit. He can take it to dead center, but remember, it's 430 up the alley in left center here at Yankee Stadium. Count now 3-1.
I'm sitting there shaking my head, Keith. You don't win pitching to Steve Garvey and Reggie Smith and Ron Cey 3-1 and 2-1. You just can't give him the chance. This guy is real strong. He can hit the ball out in that right field alley out there at 385 just as easily as he can hit it over that 387 mark in left field.
He took him outside and he lost him. So Ron Cey walks to first base. Reggie Smith goes down to second base. And here comes Steve Garvey walking to the plate with 2 out and 2 on.
Probably nobody the Dodgers would rather have up. 2 men out, nobody on. Smith singling, then the walk. How to begin to dig a grave, perhaps.
You're digging your own hole, Harold.
That's the 4th walk yielded by Don Gullett in the ball game. He walked 3 at the top of the 1st inning, and the Dodgers jumped on him for 2 runs. The Dodgers lead 2-1. And they're batting here in the top of the 3rd. The pitch to Garvey. Line tight. You can see from that statistic there, Steve Garvey, productive. That's how he got 115 runs across the plate. Oh, that one just almost sailed away from Thurman Munson. Really got loose from him. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. And Dusty Baker is on deck. He's throwing the ball so very, very hard, perhaps too hard.
Trying to throw the ball too hard. That's why that last pitch was way out of the strike zone.
96 miles per hour was clocked at.
Doesn't do any good if you don't throw it where you want it. You've got to get that ball down. He's got to throw the ball inside. Right there.
Foul. Straight back. It's 2-1 on Steve Garvey.
He was 2-0 on Reggie Smith, 3-1 on Ronnie Say. He's 2-1 now and just pitched 2-0 to him. I get a lot of young pitchers, Keith, that come up to me and ask, what's the basic fundamentals? What should I do? I say, throw strikes and throw low strikes. You cannot pitch behind and pitch in the big leagues.
At 2-1, runner's edge off. Harvey swings and misses, and it was power against power right there as Gullett just reached back and brought his best fastball to the plate at 94 miles an hour. It's 2-2.
He is really firing.
Very consistent. 94, 5, and 6 right in that area. Reggie Smith at second base. Ron Say still over at first.
How long can you throw at 94 miles an hour?
If you're in shape, you can do it for 9 innings.
That's happened to Seaver with his record strikeouts.
Outside and high, and it's full at 3-2. So now the runners will check up and be going. Garvey will try to reload and be ready. And it's up to Gullett to try to hold it. With Baker on deck. Baker has hit a grand slam in the National League playoffs against the Phillies in his only opportunity. With the bases loaded, he delivered, and Garvey hits it high and deep to center field. Rivers goes back. He's got room. He makes the catch. Garvey scared him, but they got him. Dodgers threatened, but come up empty in the top of the 3rd inning after 2 1/2. Score remains. Dodgers 2, Yankees 1. We'll go down to the bottom of the 3rd inning for the Yankees in this telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball, intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. To the top of the order for the Yankees, Mickey Rivers, Willie Randolph, and Thurman Munson. Against Don Sutton in a 2-1 ball game, the Dodgers have the edge. You can see from those numbers that Mickey Rivers had a very productive championship series. Pesky fellow, guy you need to keep off the bases. You want to beat the Yankees, just like Lopes for Los Angeles, and that's foul.
He was really an amazing player down the stretch run. While people were quarreling throughout the American League as to who should be the most valuable player in the league, with a lot of deserved nods going, of course, to Carew, others to Cowan of Kansas City. This young man must be considered.
Ball is punched to left. Baker's got him played just right. Dusty makes the catch, 1 out. So, Don Sutton has to breathe a sigh of relief not to have the speedster on first base, and here comes Willie Randolph to the plate, who grounded out for Ron Say in his first time up back in the 1st inning. Willie's 2nd series. And he takes a strike. In game number 5 of the playoff against Kansas City, Willie went 1 for 3, and the run batted in, and that sacrifice fly drove in the winning run, hitting second in the order in the big ball game, and that's fouled away upstairs.
The thing about Randolph, Tom, is that he's a great athlete. He can hit, run, field, and throw. He has the habit of not spiking a rally, which is just what Keith was saying, in effect, when he brought attention to the fact he knocked in the winning run.
2-strike count on Randolph, and it's low.
He's a typical player out of the Pittsburgh Pirate organization, Howard. He's a free swinger. He really hacks at the ball, hits the ball back through the middle, very aggressive at the plate, and runs very well.
Got it. Sutton caught him looking, let her high. Second strikeout for Don Sutton.
Sutton seems to settle down here a little bit.
Really has. He's retired 6 in a row. Seems in command.
Good control. He's getting the ball where he wants to get it now. He got down the lower end of the lineup in the bottom half of inning number 2 and got 3 easy outs there. And that, I think that settled him down quite a bit.
He developed confidence when we assigned him to the Little League World Series. Threw hitless ball against the youngsters.
Yeah, he caught that helicopter and ran to a charter and flew home, and the next day won a ball game.
That's right.
Thurman Munson up for the Yankees with the bases empty and 2 out, and Sutton curves him outside. Reggie Jackson is in the on-deck circle for New York. There's a strike. It's 1-1. There's Reggie chewing on his seeds and waiting.
This is pitcher's delight right here, Keith. Thurman Munson up, 2 outs and nobody on base. That's when you want to face this kind of hitter.
That's right. Foul out of play. Sutton has the edge at 1-2.
He's the kind of hitter that is much tougher. You put a man down there at second base, or a fellow over there on third base with 1 out, he can hit a sacrifice fly. He's extremely tough in those situations. Much better hitter in that spot.
Knocked in an even 100 runs in 1977. 1-2 pitch. Got him. With a foul tip, Steve Yeager holds. And so the Yankees are going in order in the bottom of the 3rd inning. And our score remains Dodgers 2, Yankees 1. As we move down to the top of the 4th inning in this opening game of the 1977 World Series at Yankee Stadium, Dusty Baker stands in to lead off for the Dodgers. Glenn Burke on deck, Steve Yeager in the hole, and Dusty at the batting cage tonight set. As he takes a pitch on the outside corner, I'm ready to call one. Had a great year. And a grand slam against the Phillies. And it's foul. It's 1-1. Oh, excuse me, it's 2 strikes. Glenn Burke into the on-deck circle, who had his first at-bat in the World Series a little while ago, probably has calmed some of the butterflies in him, but no man alive could have been more excited than this youngster right here, and the man at the plate, Dusty Baker. They were 40 feet in the air, and that pitch is way outside from Don Gullett, and now it's 2-2.
Keith, he's got to be one happy man. He had a fine year at the plate. 291, 30 home runs, and 86 RBIs. Last year, his first year with the Dodgers, came over there, hit 242. He had only 4 home runs and 39 RBIs.
Correct the count at 1-2 on Dusty Baker. Gullett again comes high and away, and now it's 2-2. It seems that perhaps Gullett doesn't, when he loses that pitch high and away, he really doesn't finish it. Seems to be pulling away. Arm doesn't come all the way through. At 2-2 to Baker.
Whoa. Ouch.
Hit him.
That's a 96-mile-an-hour fastball right in the thigh, I think.
Says
Ouch.
he's all right. Another look at it.
Wow, right in the rib cage.
Yeah. as a glancing blow as Dusty was pulling away. Otherwise, he might really have been hurt by it.
I think Baker reflects this whole Dodger team this year. Give them an inch, they'll take a mile. They find a way to beat you. Never more reflected than in that game last Friday against the Phils when they seemed hopelessly beaten. 1 strike to go on Manny Mota. Instead, the Dodgers wrested the victory. Never mind the Philadelphia mistakes. Somehow the Dodgers forced them and take advantage of them.
Now the youngster, Glenn Burke, who struck out swinging back in the 2nd inning. Swings and misses again. Two to one. Dodgers lead the Yankees. Dodgers scored 2 in the top of the 1st. Yankees got 1 back in the bottom of the 1st. Since then, the pitchers have owned the ball game. Right now, Don Gullett having a little bit of trouble with his control again. He hit Baker, and Burke hits it up the middle for Mickey Rivers. Plenty of room for Mickey. He makes the catch. Baker will come back to first.
As we pan out to center field, you'll see part of the history and tradition of this magnificent ballpark. The monuments. Lou Gehrig, Commerce High School, the Bronx, New York Yankees, Old Iron Horse, Miller Huggins, the indomitable little manager who had his fracases with that man, the Babe, George Herman Root.
At the plate, Steve Yeager. With 1 out, Dusty Baker on first base for the Dodgers. Yeager hits it on the ground toward Willie Randolph. It's a slow number. Yeager's quicker than you might think for a catcher, but good play by Willie Randolph as Dusty Baker moves to second.
You see a fine defensive play there by Willie Randolph. Done a fine job for the Yankees all year long, so I'm told. We'll see it in the replay. I don't see these guys during the year. But he makes a fine play. That's the kind of play that you've got to make if you're going to win the American League pennant, even with a runner running right in front of him. A good flip to Chambliss and got him by a step and a half.
Nicely done, Tom, because the vision wasn't bad by the runner.
Now you've got 2 out. You've got Don Sutton, the pitcher, up with Dusty Baker at second base. And Sutton lays it down. Gullett's got to field it. He flips it underhanded, and it's just in time. Well, they'll try almost anything to beat you. Don Sutton, the pitcher, almost beats out a bunt, but doesn't work, and the score remains 2-1 Dodgers. Preceding a message on behalf of Major League Baseball. You're looking at Dodger catcher Steve Yeager. That extra piece of equipment hanging down from the bottom of the face mask. A year ago, a piece of broken bat went into his neck and severely injured him. Well, as a result of that and being hit by various shrapnel around home plate, including foul balls that sometimes come back under and hit you in that Adam's apple in the throat area, the Dodgers put that piece of equipment together for Steve Yeager, and he's worn it ever since.
And others are beginning to pick it up.
That's right, and they should, because it is needed. Reggie Jackson will lead off for the New York Yankees now in the bottom of the 4th inning, to be followed by Chris Chambliss and Greg Nettles. Jackson and Chambliss at back-to-back singles back in the 1st inning. So Reggie up facing Don Sutton. The score 2-1 Dodgers. Strike 1. That single that Jackson had off the thumbs, checked swing, and it still looped over Russell's head into short center field. Low. 1-1. 286 average on the year. Did what he said he was going to do. Got his 30-plus home runs and got his 100-plus RBI.
Exploded the last 6 weeks of the season. The runs came in bunches.
That's high and tight. Don Sutton in the MVP All-Star game this year pitched the first 3 innings of the game. Walked 1, struck out 4. He gave a single in that ball game to Reggie Jackson.
Crowd is chanting, Reggie, Reggie.
High pop on the left side for Ron Say. Fair territory, and Reggie's gone. 1 out.
However, Reggie is not beguiled by the current approving roars of the crowd. He has heard other kinds of roars.
He heard it when he came out tonight, too, Howard. Sutton has jammed that man twice tonight. He's pitched him soft stuff away and hard stuff in.
That pitch is low to the Yankee first baseman, Chris Chambliss, who knocked in New York's run back in the first inning. And Chris has been overdue. He's a better hitter than he showed, I think, during the series against Kansas City. Very steady fellow. Pitch is high. There you go, 1 for 17 against the Royals.
Wasn't the same hitter that he was a year ago against the Royals.
There's a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike now with 1 out and nobody on for the Yankees in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Dodgers leading 2-1.
Matter of fact, Keith, Chris will be the first to tell you he didn't think he had a good year.
Yeah, that's right. High fly ball out into short center. Davy Lopes circles back to make the play. No way that Glenn Burke's going to get to that ball. He had gone very deep in right center for Chambliss, and Lopes, a long way to go, ran it down.
And here's Nettles with the damaged shoulder. Doubt at the outset as to whether or not he'd start. Let's take a close look at Greg and see if that shoulder is bothering his swing, in your opinion, Tom.
I talked to Greg yesterday. It was either in the collision that he had in the championship series or when he was throwing a punch at George Brett that somebody grabbed his arm. He doesn't quite know how he did hurt his shoulder.
I never saw a ball player could fight.
That pitch is outside in a way.
Once there was one who thought he was a professional fighter, Don Hope. And over at Ebbets Field, he challenged Clem Levine. They fought under the stands, and Hope got knocked out for the 3rd time.
Ball is pulled over to Steve Garvey. Sutton comes in to cover it, and now Don Sutton has retired 10 Yankees in a row. And after 4 innings of play, here in this opening game of the World Series, the Dodgers lead the Yankees 2-1. Now we go to the Dodgers, top of the order. Davy Lopes, Bill Russell, and Reggie Smith. Davy Lopes in the ball game has walked and scored and struck out looking. There's a pitch on the inside corner.
That's the pitch Mr. Seaver likes, Keith. That's the pitch he likes to throw. Tight, knee high, inside corner.
That warms my heart to see a pitcher get that ball up there about 94 or 95 miles an hour, right down about knee level.
What a pity you can't do it more often.
Fouled, and that time it's fouled off Nestor Shylock, the umpire, and Nestor wobbled around a little on that one, didn't he? Said he'd quit eating supper, been going to bed hungry, and he looks lean and hard, and he's been around for 24 years.
Well, I don't know how Jim Dell at third base feels. He flew the red-eye back from L.A. Sunday night with me. We had a mechanical, got off 3 hours late, and he staggered off the plane at 10 o'clock Monday morning.
Oh, mercy. Lopes fouls it off, goes down in the Yankee dugout. Bill Russell is waiting on deck, the Dodger shortstop. Number 2 behind a guy who likes to run like Davy Lopes, the toughest bat position you can possibly have. Russell has handled it well. 1-2 now, the count on Davy Lopes. Hits it toward the hole. Greg Nettles cuts it off, and they just get in. If they leave the ball go to Bucky Dent, they never get it. It is Nettles who made the play and got his man.
He made a fine play here, Keith, going into left. Greg has really made himself an outstanding third baseman. It was his right shoulder that's been injured, and if it's going to be hurt, you'll be able to tell it on that play. Lopes, of course, gets to first base as well as any right-hand hitter in the league. Got him by half a step.
Now Bill Russell, who has tripled to knock in a run. And Gullett is outside and away. The Dodgers were the first of the 4 division winners to clinch this year. They did it back on September 20. They were also the only division winner who didn't win 100 games. But they're also the only team among the 4 division winners that came out of the starting gate like a runaway horse this year.
They really did. They had a spectacular first half of the season. That's when they clinched the pennant.
2-1 now to Billy Russell.
Not even Tom, despite his 21-6 year, could get the Reds back into the thick of things.
22-4 they were at the start of the season. That's an outstanding start. It's going to be difficult for anybody to catch a team that gets out of the blocks like that.
Russell hits it hard down the left field line. Piniella going back to the track, and he's got it.
Very quickly, folks, one day after the failure of the Soviet space mission, the American space program faces a crucial test. ABC News will have exclusive live coverage of the flight of the space shuttle tomorrow morning, 11:30 Eastern Time. The space shuttle orbiter flies without its protective tail cone, duplicating an actual re-entry from space. The Soviet failure, by the way, Keith, as you know, is due to a malfunction in the docking system.
Batter up now is Reggie Smith for the Dodgers, with a walk and a single. Dodgers hitting in the top of the 5th inning and leading the Yankees 2-1. A lot of offense in the first inning. It's been all pitching ever since between Sutton and Gullett. And Gullett blows the fastball past Reggie Smith for a 1-1 count. And no small wonder Reggie didn't get a piece of it, because he threw it at 94 miles an hour again.
Gullett is throwing as if from outer space. Another re-emphasis about the American space program. If this test is successful, it's a major boost for the United States space program. If it fails, as the Russians failed today, a space shuttle in '79 is in serious doubt. And that's a foul ball out of play. Remember, 11:30 to noon tomorrow, an ABC News special.
Don Gullett rubbing on a new baseball now with a count of 1-2 on Reggie Smith. Don's a country boy, grew up farm down near Lynn, Kentucky. He did the usual work around the farm. In between, he went out and played all the sports he could, including striking out 20 out of 21 one day in a baseball game. So country boys have a habit of coming up raw-boned and strong, and he's now got a count of 2-2.
He's not finessing either. I mean, there's Billy Martin in the Yankee dugout. He's just flat throwing his fastball up there. His curveballs, he's not getting his curveball over, and he's really not getting an off-speed pitch over. It's just fastballs. That's just a low fastball in the dirt.
Full count now, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Reggie Smith, as you look at Don Gullett laboring out there. Smith hit him for a single last time up, walked the previous time. And as I noted at the very top of the telecast, Reggie Smith, on the record, could probably be considered the 3rd best switch hitter in baseball history, behind only Mantle and Rose. Still, he's had an in-and-out career. He was unhappy in Boston for a wide variety of reasons. Said some of them were sociological.
3-2 pitch. Strike 3 ball. So Don Gullett's blazing fastball gets Smith looking, and the score remains 2-1 at the halfway point. We go down to the bottom of the 5th inning with a score 2-1, and you can see the Dodgers have had only 2 hits. The Yankees have had 3 hits off Don Sutton. And Don Gullett, after that rocky first inning, has really settled down. But then so has Sutton, because he has retired 10 in a row. And he's going to be pitching now to the bottom 3rd of the order for New York. Lou Piniella, Bucky Dent, and Don Gullett.
And the cries of Lou infect the stadium.
Breaking pitch is in for strike 1 to Piniella. The Needler. He's always got something going in the clubhouse. And the Yankees have needed some light moments during the course of the summer. Foul. And very quickly, it's 2 strikes. Don Gullett rests in the Yankee dugout. Sutton ahead, 0-2 to Piniella. Outfield straight away for it. And Don comes outside.
There's the real scrap iron, Keith, right there.
Yeah,
This demonstrates.
right. That's what catchers do in the dugout when they're not hitting. They rest.
He never won a beauty contest, I can tell you that.
He's a good one. Piniella now comes away from the plate. Sutton takes time. Again, the umpires, Nestor Shylock behind the plate, Ed Sudol at first, Larry McCoy second, Jerry Dale at third. Down the line and left is Jim Evans, and John McSherry down the line and right. Fans starting to make a little noise now, trying to pump up the Yankees. As Sutton delivers to Pinella, he hits a shot. Foul ball. That's really the first time anybody has pulled Sutton with authority.
That was a shot. He threw that right in Lou's groove.
It's known as the wheelhouse in the clubhouse.
The wheelhouse.
The wheelhouse. It's called a wheelhouse, yes.
Which
I mean, if you're going to do this, get the right terminology.
Which was that, though? Did you clear that? With
The what?
With your former clubhouse?
Yeah, no, that's the contemporary clubhouse.
And with the press?
It's nice when, that's nice when it goes foul.
Now the restless crowd grows rather quiet again as Pinella comes back with a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. 34 years of age, having one of his best seasons. All the scoring coming in the very first inning. The pitchers have controlled the ball game since that time. Talking about rain late tonight and tomorrow morning. Expected to be clear for tomorrow night, though a bit cooler. Second game of the 1977 World Series. Pinella swings and misses and strikes out. 8 o'clock tomorrow night with James Catfish Hunter scheduled to go for the New York Yankees and Bert Hooton for the Los Angeles Dodgers. So don't bet your mortgage on it.
Hooton can be very, very tough.
Yes, he can.
He blew up on what he felt was a very bad call in that game last Friday against the Phils. And
Bucky Dent up there now takes ball 1.
first time I've seen him lose control of himself that way, and he wound up walking 4 straight batters. Tommy had no choice but to get him out of there.
Up the middle, base hit for Bucky Dent. Almost called that too soon. Almost pulled it out of there. That is the 4th base hit in the ball game for the Yankees, and watch here how close Davy Lopes comes to climbing up and pulling it down. Looked like it had plenty of carry on it to get into center, but now watch Lopes.
He's doing his rendition of a split end there. Looks like a split end for the LA Rams on that throw.
Bunt is laid down by Gullett. Garvey plays to Lopes.
That's a pretty good athlete right there, Don Gullett. You see Dent down at second base, sacrificed by Don Gullett. Gullett, I said earlier, was a fine athlete, all-around athlete. He made a good play on Don Sutton's bunt, getting him out at first. He hasn't bunted all year because of the designated hitter in the American League, and that's a perfect bunt right there.
And it sends the base runner, Bucky Dent, up to second base with Mickey Rivers coming to the plate.
And he's for the other team. Here's the little Pets, the man who ignites the ball club, the man who got the big hit against Kansas City in the final game in the 9th inning. With occasional power, 11 home runs on the year. He fooled you a lot of ways, this Rivers.
Sutton comes low. Rivers had 2 runs batted in the playoff series against Kansas City. And in that important 5th ball game, when he went 2 for 5, he delivered the tying run. So he works all right with pressure on him. Foul, and it's 1-1 with 2 out, and Bucky Dent leading off second base for New York.
Ron Cey is giving him the third base foul line, the very area Rivers loves. If Sutton pitches him outside, Tom, you see it there. You might see Mickey try and chop it either over Cey's head or past it.
Much different than the way the Reds played him last year. Rose was right down on his throat last year at third base. This year, third baseman Ron Cey playing way back.
And the count goes to 2-1 as Don Sutton's breaking pitch got away and was high. See how much Ronnie Cey is off the line at third.
He is off the line and well behind the bag at third base.
2-1 pitch. Ball is hit hard to right field, and it is right into the glove of Reggie Smith. And so the inning is over. After 5 complete innings, our score remains Dodgers 2, Yankees 1. Back before baseball after this word from our local station. There's the line score of the ball game. Los Angeles 2 runs on 2 hits, cashed in because of 3 walks issued by Don Gullett. The Yankees now with 4 hits, but only 1 run. I might also point out the Yankees are in this series with 24 players. The commissioner's office refusing the Yankees the privilege of activating Del Alston for the 25th position. Don Sutton has been dominant for the Los Angeles Dodgers since that first inning, and certainly Don Gullett has done the same for the New York Yankees, and Gullett is out there right now. And Don Gullett will be pitching to Ron Cey, Steve Garvey, Dusty Baker, Hart of the Dodger batting order. And he's in with the breaking pitch for strike 1.
One of the few, Howard, one of the few curveballs he's gotten over. Gullett's thrown 82 pitches already, only through the 5th inning.
Fastball is hit a mile in the air. Lou Piniella going back, and right in front of the wall at 387 feet, as you can see, he makes the catch.
That almost got in there. In the old Yankee Stadium dimensions, what a beautiful picture of the Statue of Liberty. Live picture. I was about to say that in the old stadium, the distance was a little further at that point, which enabled John Frito in 47 to make the catch on DiMaggio. It used to be 401 feet out.
Garvey lays one down, and he'll beat it out. No chance to play, Steve Garvey. As he lays down the bunt for the base hit, and he's on with his first safety of the night. Watch this bunt. Laid perfectly. Didn't get it on the grass. The infield slopes a little more here toward third than it does in a lot of places, but getting it out on the grass, the ball just laid there as soft as a feather as it rolled along, and there wasn't a thing in the world that Greg Nettles could do about it.
Nettles playing way back there, and it wasn't an easy pitch to bunt, curveball. But the Dodgers know they take advantage of that. You see Greg playing way back there. Steve can run very well.
That's the point about the Dodgers, fundamentals and the ability to take advantage.
Take advantage when the opposition will give you an opening. Go ahead and take it.
Dusty Baker now, here in the top of the 6th inning with Garvey off first, and Baker hits it high in the air, and Munson comes back, but he has no play. Also might bring up a subject that was a little touchy during the course of the season, the use of walkie-talkies in communicating with Gene Michaels and Clyde King upstairs and placing the defensive positions for the New York Yankees. In the playoff series, had a couple of retired umpires, Hank Soar and John Stevens, in the respective dugouts.
Did you see who was there when we got here tonight? Clyde King.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he's doing. He's placing the outfielders with a walkie-talkie.
That's foul up in the crowd out of play, and Elston Howard, they're probably talking on the phone upstairs to King or Gene Michaels, but there is no umpire in the dugout. The reason the umpire was put in that dugout, or the monitor in a sense, is what he was, so they wouldn't be stealing signs. But they found out it didn't make any difference anyhow, and by the time you got the information relayed down, it was too late, so there is no umpire required or no monitor required in the dugouts in the World Series. Phew, I'm sorry I brought it up.
You don't think they try and steal signs down there, do you? That's why they don't have flashcards.
1-2.
Tommy, after Gullett has pitched to Dusty Baker, I want to talk to you about the scouting that goes on of the opposition teams in preparation for the World Series and how effective it is or isn't.
A 1-2 pitch coming to Dusty Baker as Garvey comes off first base, and the pitch is up high and outside, and it's 2-2. He's still throwing hard at 94 miles an hour, but as Tom told you, coming into this inning, he had thrown the ball to the plate 82 times.
82 times, probably 10 more times this inning. Probably up about 92, and Don is not a complete game pitcher. He only had 7 complete games this year. The most he ever had as a Cincinnati Red was 10.
He's high again, and it's full. The 3-2. Garvey will be going.
I think Billy Martin will be very happy if he can get 7 innings out of it. And if he does pitch 7 innings, he'll be up there right around 120 pitches, especially with a tender shoulder.
No question about it. And if Baker gets on, you'll see some very quick stirrings in the Yankee bullpen.
Pedro has been the man who's already been up twice, but at this point in the game, they might consider someone else. Nobody there now, however. It's quiet. Both pens. Dodger pen has moved all night. Garvey goes. Baker swings. High fly ball out into right center field. It looked like it might be a little Alphonse Gaston for a moment between Reggie Jackson and Mickey Rivers, and finally Mickey called and made the catch.
With the experiences that Jackson's had in right field this year, I think most Yankee fans would consider it felicitous for Rivers to take the ball.
There was a pop fly to right center of the championship series, and Mickey came over and called Reggie off, and Reggie backed right off. Reggie knows that Mickey is the field general in center field, and he does corral the outfielder. He is in charge out there.
Glenn Burke now up with 2 out, and Steve Garvey at first base, having bunted his way aboard for the 3rd hit of the night for the Dodgers. Dodgers have 3, the Yankees have 4 hits. Dodgers have 2 runs, Yankees have 1. Burke swings and misses. Glenn has struck out swinging and hit a fly ball to center.
Now, Tommy, we had a long talk with Don Sutton yesterday about scouting reports. What were your respective opinions?
Well, every club's going to get a scouting report on teams in the other league, even teams in your own league. And I think for a professional of Sutton's stature, you're not going to change your game plan as a pitcher going to the mound. You want to know what a hitter's strength is. Where is his strong point? Where does he like the ball? And where is his most vulnerable point? Those are really the only 2 things that a pitcher can use when he does go to the mound. Another thing that the scouting reports do really is defensive alignment. That's probably the most important thing that you can get from a scouting report.
Very good.
Thank you.
2-strike count now on Glenn Burke. And that one's outside.
If you have any other questions that you don't know anything about, you just feel free to ask me.
What I got a kick out of was Sutton saying to us, the Don report says he can't hit a hard inside knee-high pitch. He said, how do they know whether or not I can throw it?
Who can hit it?
That's right. Burke hits it foul, out of play.
Sutton's comments was a good hard fastball inside, followed up with a curve just off the plate down and away at the knees. They haven't invented anybody hits those pitches yet.
Burke the batter, 2 out. Garvey at first base. Dodgers leading 2-1. Steve Yeager on deck. There's the base runner, Steve Garvey. Perfect month to get aboard. Don Sutton resting as quietly as possible, visiting with somebody in the Dodger dugout. These 2 pitchers really took this ball game to the throat after that first inning. Not much has happened. Garvey goes, and the ball is punched to the right side, and it goes into right field for a base hit. And Garvey goes on around second and goes into third. He's coming to the plate. Here's the throw. It is out in time. Close play. And that'll get some conversation out of the Dodger dugout, I'll guarantee you.
Good aggressive play there, Keith. The umpire was out of position in my estimation. He was up the line instead of waiting at home plate. Now you watch as Garvey comes in, he gets the go from Preston Gomez. Going in, you'll see the umpire getting back to home plate, yet still trying to make the call. Look at the umpire, he's up the line. What's he doing up there? Here he comes. He's not even in the picture. Where is he?
That's telling it like it is.
So it is still 2-1. Here we go now to the bottom of the 6th inning. Willie Randolph, Thurman Munson, and Reggie Jackson. We're going to show you that play again at home plate. One more look at it now as the throw comes in from Mickey Rivers. And from that angle, it looks like Garvey was on the plate.
It sure did.
That pitch is just low, and it's 1-1. And one more look at it. Since everybody's going to be talking about it tomorrow, this is the third angle of it. Can't see home plate there, though. 2 balls and no strikes. And Randolph swings and misses. It's 2-1. And that play at home plate got the crowd buzzing.
Garvey's not a guy to argue either. He argues when he thinks he's right.
Yeah, but the point you made about position is everything. Position is everything for an official. In 1955, when Jackie Robinson stole home, let's watch this pitch.
2-1. 2-2.
When Jackie stole home on Yogi Berra in the 5th game of the series, Berra's whole claim was that the umpire was out of position.
Umpire never moved.
Didn't see him make the tag.
Hard shot, left side, way back. It is gone. Home run, Randolph. The score is tied at 2-2.
That's the fine young athlete we were telling you about, whom Tom Seaver characterized as a typical Pittsburgh Pirate farm product. He was obtained a year ago, as we look at this again, in one of Gabe Paul's many trades that re-architectured the Yankees.
Don Sutton did not want to throw that pitch. You don't get 2 strikes, 2 and 2 on hitter, throw the ball up there, and he's the kind of hitter you want to keep the ball down, make him hit the ball on the ground, make him hit the fly ball to right field.
Debris. Monsieur Debris has arrived at the ballpark.
Well, we're in the bottom of the 6th, and this game has proved out to be everything we expected it to be up to this point. A typical Yankee-Dodger struggle, consistent with the whole long history of 8 prior World Series between these 2 teams.
Thurman Munson now comes to the plate. Nobody out. Randolph hitting the home run about 320 feet down the left field line to even it at 2-2. Munson hits it on the ground to Davy Lopes. The gravy bounce for Davy, and he throws him out. So that's one of them.
Sure, the home run again. Here's Randolph. Sutton wants that pitch back. And I tell you, he knew it was gone, too. Pitchers, they throw pitches like that, and there's a certain sound, a ring that comes off of that bat. You know it's gone.
Now it is Reggie Jackson at the plate as we finish the replay of the home run trot of Willie Randolph, and here's Reggie. Willie's got to practice his home run trot. He doesn't get to that.
At this moment, Joe Lasauter is doubtless thinking back to that call at home plate on Garvey.
There he is right there. Not sure what he's thinking. Not very happy.
Just inside to the hand. 2 balls and no strikes, and that's where you want to go to Jackson if you're going to get him, is throw it into his hands.
Hard stuff up and in and soft stuff away if you're going to pitch for Reggie.
Foul.
Off stuff away. That's a changeup. Sutton showed me something. He gives up a home run, ties up the ball game, comes back with Thurman Munson up to the plate. Threw him a good curveball.
Made him
back
hit
with
his
a
pitch.
very good pitch, and that's a guy that keeps his cool on the mound, and that's a real professional.
Man's had 5 one-hitters in the course of his career. Winning as pitcher in Dodger pitching history.
Los Angeles Dodgers.
Crowd roaring Reggie. The pitch is inside, and he hit him. Jackson just nipped on the left forearm, and the way he's acting, I think it just caught the sleeve. Probably didn't even hit the arm. As you can see, trying to pitch him inside, just caught the left forearm. So Jackson is
the
on.
ball looked like it sailed in on him. You got to pitch the hard stuff up and in on Reggie. He's a big bat. He's got a big swing. You don't want to let him extend his arms. The ball looked like it sailed on Sutton a little bit.
Now here's trouble. Chris Schembler with 1 out. Jackson on first, and the pitch, ball 1. So Don Sutton running into a rough moment here.
Guys are moving around in the Dodger dugout, left center field.
And in the bullpen. Yes, sir.
In the bullpen.
There's the catcher out. Here comes the pitcher trotting out to start cranking up. In the bottom of the 6th inning, the Yankees getting a run on Randolph's home run. They got Munson on a grounder to Lopes. Then he hit Reggie Jackson. With one out, Reggie off first. The pitch low and away. The 2-ball, no strike count to Chris Shambler. Greg Nettles is on deck.
I don't think he's getting tired, Keith. I mean, he threw only 65.
Lance Robson, left-hander. He might be a very important fellow in this series, Tom, because of the left-handed.
He's the only left-hander they've got down there.
Elias Sosa is the right-hander cranking up. Ball is hit hard to right field. Reggie Smith is right there. Well, Reggie Jackson nailed it, but he hit it right at Reggie Smith. I didn't say Reggie Jackson, Chris Chambliss and Jackson. When Reggie Jackson heard the crack of the bat, he was gone, and then he stopped. He took 2 hard shots at second base, and then he just stopped because he could see that Reggie Smith hadn't moved, and he knew that he had to come back.
Pitch out. Tom Lasorda doing a little coaching.
Now it's 2
Bobby
out.
From the dugout.
I'll tell you this, though. In the last 2 innings, Don Sutton, they have stung the ball.
I really don't think he's getting tired, Keith. 65 pitches, as I said, and he only had 9 complete games this year, but it's a cool night. He's been pitching well lately, pitched very well in the playoffs.
That ball Rivers hit back in the last inning was hit on the nose, and Randolph hit one on the nose, and that one was hit on the nose by Shambler. Jackson off first. 2-ball, no strike count now. Elias Sosa and Lance Robson in the Dodger bullpen. Reggie Jackson at first base. Billy Martin, not a manager who wants his people running on their own. They go when he tells them. And Sutton goes to first to chase Reggie back. Greg Nettles in the on-decks. High fly ball to right center field. And I'm just about to say that when Greg Nettles was waiting in the on-deck circle, you knew he was going to go fishing for a Sutton fastball. He got it, but not quite enough of it. And so it's all even after 6 at 2-2. On the left, that is Mrs. Tommy John, Mrs. Reggie Smith. And just to Mrs. Smith's left, to your right, that's Mrs. Steve Garvey.
And Mrs. Bird Houghton deserves a nod, too.
All the Dodger wives who could make the trip are all seated together and anxious now as the Dodgers come to the plate in the top of the 7th inning with Steve Yeager, Don Sutton, and Davy Lopes, and Don Sutton is in the on-deck circle. The Dodgers 2 runs on 4 hits. And Steve Yeager hits a high pop that comes back out of play. The Dodgers in the ball game so far have stranded only 5 base runners. And there's Mrs. Sutton.
She seems at ease.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
Guarantee you. In a 2-2 ball game in Yankee Stadium.
I think she's heard those line drives the last few hitters have been getting off it done.
That pitch is outside from Don Gullett to Steve Yeager, and the count on the Dodger catcher now is 2-1.
If Gullett does get in trouble here, Keith, I think you'll see some action in the Yankee bullpen. He's up to about 100 pitches now.
That's a high pop. Chambliss and Munson looking at it. Chris has a beat on it, and Chambliss makes the catch right in front of the Yankee dugout. Well, that's 1 down. And the Dodger pitcher will hit. Don Sutton coming to the plate.
I must say, in perspective, that battered Yankee pitching staff appears to have been resuscitated by the reemergence of Mr. Gullett.
Well, he's done more than just what he's done today, Howard. I mean, he's really helped. He helps everybody. He helps the guys sitting out there in the bullpen. Gives them a rest so they don't have to use 2 or 3 or 4 pitchers today. Now, he's done what Martin has wanted him to do. He's into the 7th inning now and very strong. And that makes Billy very happy.
Sutton swings and misses. Strike one.
It looks like he's getting tired of me, doesn't he? He is bringing it up there.
I only disagree with you on one thing. Martin won't be happy until he gets a lead run.
That's high. Gullett appearing in the World Series of 70, 72, 75, and 76 with an earned run average of 2.72 over those years and those appearances.
Oh, boy.
Strike. 1 and 2.
That was an
And
American
Billy Martin.
strike.
There's Billy. With all the pitches he's thrown, Tom, he's still well over 90 miles per hour.
Going very well. There was Billy. You saw him still signaling at Greg Nettles that he still might bunt with 2 strikes. Something to do anything at that bat. He likes to talk about his hitting and his golf. Pretty good golfer.
2-2 count on him now.
Pretty good showbiz guy. Excellent mimicry.
Good sense of humor. And a real good curveball.
Which helps.
Foul.
Cool cat, though. Been to the well a lot of times.
If we get a foul ball up here, you going to catch it or am I going to catch it?
Not me. I'm usually getting handed a pretzel, so I get hit in the chest. I got the same guy up here from Bowie Kuhn's office who was responsible for my last mishap.
Two-two pitch. Just misses. 3 and 2. Now here's the kind of a moment that causes a manager to get to mumbling under his breath, and particularly a pitching coach a little bit, because here he's gone to 3 and 2 on the opposing pitcher. Lou Pinella's playing him deep in left field too. Now he comes in a couple of steps and he walked him. What do you have to say to yourself when you walk the other pitcher?
Can't tell you, Keith. When we go to commercial, I'll tell you. That's an unprintable up here.
In the meantime, Mrs. Sutton smiles gleefully.
5 bases on balls issued by Don Gullett in the ball game. Now he's got to work with the top of the order. Davy Lopes, Bill Russell into the on-deck circle. 1 out. Sutton off first, shook off the jacket, didn't want it. It's comfortable. Lopes swings and misses on a breaking pitch.
It surprises me, Sutton at first base, not wearing a jacket, and he's pitching in short sleeves. He's got his wool shirt just to his elbows. It's not warm out there. I mean, it's 60 degrees.
Dick Tidrow is now up again in the Yankee bullpen. Lopes beats it on the ground, and it's foul.
And lucky for the Yankees, it was. All stays fair. Mr. Lopes is across first base.
Davy Lopes, the jitterbugger, who'll do anything in the world to get that pitcher to looking at him and moving around.
Do anything in the world for Tommy Lasorda, I'll tell you that.
Sir.
Tommy managed him in the minors. He was an outfielder. And it was Tommy who knew he'd never make it as an outfielder. Insufficient batting power. Moved him to the infield. And that's where Lopes found a whole career.
Monty Bascall, the man that honed Russell and Lopes into a fine middle defense combination. And Junior Gilliam. And the pitch is low. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dave. Billy Russell waiting in the on-deck circle, the Dodger shortstop, number 2 man in the order. They're playing Lopes straight away. Maybe a little more room in right center. Not holding Sutton. Lopes swings and misses, strikes out. That's 2 down for Don Gullett.
And Keith, up comes Mr. Russell, who got the big triple down the left center alley in the first inning. Player you have to admire. He's not the soundest shortstop in the business. Had the ball stuck in his glove on an apparent double play in that big game against the Phillies last Friday. Kept the Phillies alive. They went ahead. But it was Russell who got the game-winning hit in the ninth.
Bounces the ball. Greg Nettles steps back to make the play. Goes the short way to force Sutton to second base. And the inning is over. So in the middle of the 7th inning, We're all even. The Dodgers 2 and the Yankees 2. There's the money man in the New York bullpen beginning to warm up now as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Sparky Lyle is now loosening in the Yankee pen.
What a year he's had.
He's another one of those guys that figures he can come out and get you out any way he can. There's Peter O'Malley, who is the chief operating officer of the Los Angeles Dodger baseball operation now. His dad, Walter, the man who moved the team from Brooklyn to Los Angeles, and made such an enormous success of it out there.
You would bring that up, eh?
I knew it was like having you sit on a thorn.
That's a bright young gentleman, though, Peter.
That man right there got over 2,900,000 people to go to his ballpark this year. They had some attendance at the gate.
I will tell you this from long experience. One can grow malleable under Mr. Walter O'Malley's suasion.
On behalf of us Americans, what was it you just said? Lou Piniella, Bucky Dent, and then the pitcher, Don Gullett. And the first pitch from Don Sutton is ball 1 to Piniella. Lou tonight has hit a fly ball to center field and struck out swinging. 1-1. That was a high fastball thrown at roughly 87 miles an hour. Don Gullett in the Yankee dugout resting. He's thrown a lot of pitches, but as we saw in the last inning, still able to bring it with authority. Punch to right field. It'll drop. Reggie Smith over, picks it up. Base hit for Piniella. He's going for 2. They've got him. Oh! A single and thrown out. Reggie Smith to Bill Russell.
You're taking a chance on running to one of the best arms in baseball. Reggie Smith in right field has got a gun. I mean, he has got a gun. That's perfect throw. Good aggressive base running, but I think a hitter, when he leaves that batter's box, has got to know who's throwing from the outfield.
He did that the other night in Kansas City, though, and got away with it.
He did, but here, while Tom said it was good aggressive base running, Piniella hesitated as he turned first, took another look, and only then decided to go to second. He is not a runner with basic foot speed, so he made a very human mistake of judgment. There he is, gasping, heaving, panting.
That's a goat or hero. You know, if he makes it, he's a hero. If he doesn't make it, he's a goat.
Batter is Bucky Dent with 1 out, and it's a strike.
Let me say, does not run like a fellow named Juan Torina.
Oh, Juan Torina can't hit a curveball.
How do you know?
Dent swings and misses for strike 2. I have a feeling that Juan Torina might be able to do almost anything if he put his mind to it.
You know, he might.
when Keith and I watched him at Montreal, and the way he left the others in the ruck.
Bucky Dent with a 2-strike count. Punches it on the ground to Ron Cey. Gotta hurry. Missed him.
Tough play for both players, Ron Cey and Steve Garvey. Garvey's very good first baseman with the glove. He usually comes up with that play. Ronnie didn't give him a good throw to handle. Plays it right, but just doesn't quite get a good enough throw off to first base. Bounces right underneath his glove. He'd have had him if he'd have caught the ball at first base. Got to be an error on the throw.
No, call it a hit.
They gave him a base hit?
Yep.
Well, you can tell the pitchers, can't you? Guy misses it, give him
Gullett squares and butts. Foul.
It's always interesting when Cey and Garvey link up on a play, though, because of the personal relationship between the two men. Originally, Steve was a third baseman, too, as you know. And there's been a long existing rivalry between the two men. And at one point in time, some Dodgers were saying Garvey had grown too conscious of his own image and wasn't paying enough attention to baseball. Cey was outspoken about that.
They go to first to hold Bucky Dent. Ron Cey edging in at third, anticipating bunt from Don Gullett, the Yankee pitcher.
What do you want me to tell you, Howard? They both hit 30 home runs, and they both knocked in over 100 runs.
Good bunt.
I was thinking of you and your image.
So Gullett sacrifices Dent to second base. That's 2 out. Tom Lasorda at the mound to talk to Don Sutton.
Keith, we're getting down to the point here. We're down to the last 3 innings, bottom of the 7th inning. This is where Lasorda and Martin are going to make their money. Are they going to take the pitchers out? They're going to bring a relief pitcher in. They're going to bunt. They're going to hit and run. What are they going to do? Barton right there left his left-hander in Gullett to bunt because he knows he's still got a good fastball. Lasorda goes to the mound there. How are you going to pitch him? Do you want to pitch for Rivers? Or are you going to wait and pitch for Randolph?
Well, in the light of the long-term feud between Martin and his owner, George Steinbrenner, I don't know how much money means to Martin at this point.
All right, let's look at Mickey Rivers now, the top of the order. Ron Say still playing him deep at third base. Bucky Dent off second base. Score is tied at 2-2, and the pitch is low and away for ball one.
Martin put Steinbrenner on notice that if he wins the pennant and wins the World Series, he wants his contract extended from 3 years more up to 5 and wants more money.
Last time up, Mickey Rivers hit a line shot right to Reggie Smith. Beats it on the ground foul. Down the third base line and up into the crowd. The potential go-ahead run for the Yankees in Bucky Dent is sitting out at second base. Sacrificed there by Don Gullett. After getting a base hit, legging it out on a close play at first. Willie Randolph, who homered his last trip, is on deck. And the batter, though, is Mickey Rivers, who is a tough little customer.
And that last foul chop down the third base line was what we were looking for the prior turn at bat.
Swings and misses, and it's 1-2. I'm very surprised that Ron Say is playing him that deep at third.
Well, you got a runner in scoring position at second base, Keith. You can't let a dribbler get through and give them a go-ahead run. If he wants an infield single, I think they'll give it to him.
Pops it to the left side, and it is going to be fouled. Dusty Baker ran and ran and ran, losing his cap. Can't see from where we sit down into that corner. There's the bullpen for the Dodgers with Elias Sosa and Lance Rotson warming up. Rotson the left-hander and Sosa the right-hander. So it's 1-2. With Randolph waiting. 2 outs. 2-2 ball game. Sutton asks for Yeager to go through the signs again, and we'll do it. Almost threw it away.
I like that too. Why? That warms my heart.
We just let him know that he was out there. There's Billy Martin in the dugout.
Two. Sutton off. Chases Dent back. Bucky Dent getting a big edge out there at second base. You see, he's going back 2 steps. Now he's off again, and Rivers hits it high in the air to the left side for Ron Say. And in foul ground, Ron Say makes the catch, and so the Yankee bid for the lead is turned away. After 7 innings of play, it's 2-2 between the Dodgers and Yankees. Back with more baseball after this word from our local stations. The story on the pitchers in tonight's ball game, but there is one other set of numbers that have a considerable amount of meaning, Tom Seaver.
Don Gullett at 112 pitches here, going into the 8th inning. Don Sutton 94. You'll find out if these boys have done the running in the last couple of days.
And now it is time to watch the heavies in the Dodger order against Don Gullett. In the top of the 8th inning, Reggie Smith, Ron Say, and Steve Garvey. And he's high. Ball one.
Gotta love the way Sutton worked Rivers over. That high hard went over Rivers' head, then the change of speed pitch that had Rivers off stride and forced him to pop up.
Ball is hit to right. Reggie Jackson makes the catch. So Reggie Smith flies to Reggie Jackson. 1 out. The batter will be Ron Say. George Washington Bridge. Another one of the sights in New York City. Many of you have seen it as you've flown in.
That's the bridge Tom Seaver never thought he'd cross.
That's true.
And here we go to Ron Say. Foul. Look out, Howard.
I got you covered, Howard. Don't worry, I got you covered.
I was looking over at Giant Stadium, where I thought they were going to play football.
Ron Say, the story during the season. He tore him up in April. Whew, did he ever? September, quiet. At the Grand Slam. In the playoffs against the Phillies. We've had 2 or 3 tennis balls look like thrown out onto the surface or something, and suddenly Ron Cey spotted something out there in front of Willie Randolph and stepped out. The umpire, Larry McCoy, came over and picked it up. A lot of room in right center field for Ron Cey as they set their defenses for him, and he fouls it back to the screen for strike 2.
Consistency over a span of years is the ultimate yardstick of excellence in any athlete. Ron Cey, for the last 3 seasons, has averaged 26 home runs and 97 RBIs per season. That is consistency.
2-strike pitch. Just low. Just low, and Gullett didn't leap. The Yankee bullpen is again quiet as Tidrow warmed up briefly and then sat down. The Dodger fan is also quiet. 1-2 to Cey. Struck him out.
In the morning paper today, Keith Gullett said he'd be able to pitch, but he didn't think he'd be 100%. I don't know if that was a psych job or what, because he has done a fine job, giving up only 4 hits to the Dodgers here tonight. 2 runs in the first inning, and then thrown a whole bunch of zeros at him.
He's now struck out 6 men in the ball game, and his pitching total is getting up around the 120 mark. Steve Garvey, butt single. Score is tied 2-2 between the Dodgers and Yankees. Dodgers at bat, top of the 8th inning, and Gullett is in.
Good pitch.
Strike 1. Took a little off of it.
Good pitch. Breaking ball got it into the strike zone. Steve, of course, obviously looking for a fastball now.
Gullett
2 outs.
Now at 116 pitches. He's been able the last 3 innings in a row to get the breaking ball over. Coming with it on the first delivery to a batter. Fastball hit on the ground to Bucky Dent. And so Don Gullett gets the Dodgers in order in the top of the 8th inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th for the Yankees with a score tied at 2-2. As we go to the bottom of the 8th inning now, that's a live picture from a helicopter, and Willie Randolph, who went downtown his last at-bat for his 5th home run of this 1977 season, is at the plate to lead off. Don Sutton delivers, and he's in with a strike. He'll be followed by Thurman Munson, Reggie Jackson. The 4th man would be Chris Chambliss. So Don Sutton faces a comparable problem of Don Gullett. The heavies in the batting order here in the 8th inning. Randolph fouls that away.
Foul away a pitch to get down a little bit more. It'd have been 3-2. That was a curveball that got up in his eyes and hung too much. Didn't get down enough. There's Lasorda on the bench, of course, watching his pitcher.
Noted that, too.
Yes, he has.
One of the problems Don has had when he has had trouble this year has been that curve that tends to sail on him. It hangs up there, and people jump all over it. That pitch is high with waiting in the on-deck circle, Thurman Munson, while Elias Sosa and Lance Robson warm up in the Dodger bullpen again. Steve Yeager asks for help from Ed Sudol at first base, and Ed shakes his head and says no. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes on Randolph. Bottom of the 8th inning in a 2-2 ball game. The opening came of the 1977 World Series. That pitch is outside. It is a full count for Randolph.
This stadium is absolutely electric. These people love it. Bottom of the 8th inning, they know they get a run. They go to the top of the 9th inning, get 3 outs. They've got number 1, game number 1 of the World Series.
Don't want that leadoff man on. Not this late in the game. And Randolph takes that one in on the hands and fouls it away.
On the other side of the coin, Tom, if you saw last Friday's game against Philadelphia, and you watched Davalillo with the bunt and Mota with the pinch hit, this Dodger team you don't ever count out.
3-2 pitch to Randolph. Low, ball 4. So the leadoff man is on in the bottom of the 8th inning. That is the first base on ball, I believe, tonight by Don Sutton. the first. Thurman Munson. Could it be that he will change that particular step? I doubt it. He might put the bunt down.
You want to play manager here? What are you going to do? The best hit and run men in the American League.
That's right.
You got a hole over there.
Here goes Randolph. The ball is swung on. Hit down in the corner. There's your answer. Here comes Randolph around third. The throw to the plate. Offline and cut off by Ron Say, and the Yankees have the lead. 3-2.
Holy cow, look at them. They're going crazy. Streamers all over the ballpark. They love it. The Yankees own New York City.
Scrap iron Munson. Beat him up. He gets hit in the throat, hit in the arms, hit in the legs. He won't go out of the lineup. The MVP in the American League a year ago, fighting all year long with his owner and with Reggie Jackson. But once on that playing field, throw out everything as Lasorda comes to the mound and calls for a new pitcher. By the way, we're going to take a look at Willie Randolph. Watch closely. You'll note that he almost tripped coming around third. Has a sudden loss of balance. Watch. Right there.
But he didn't. He came on in to spike the plate, and the Yankees have a 3-2 lead on their 8th hit of Don Sutton in the bottom of the 8th inning. And we've got a new pitcher coming in for the Dodgers. Into the ball game for the Los Angeles Dodgers now as Don Sutton leaves the game and goes into the dugout. May stay and watch the rest of it.
He pitched a fine ball game. He went out as a professional. That's what he is.
Lance Robson has come on now in relief, a left-hander. His record 4 wins, 1 loss, saved 2 games with an earned run average of .429. He pitched the third of an inning in the playoffs against Philadelphia, and he was effective. He did his job. He is from Pottsville, Pennsylvania. He came July 21 this year from Albuquerque. He was drafted by the Dodgers, a free agent. This was his first trip to the major leagues. He started at Ogden, Utah in the Dodger farm system in 1970, and then went on, worked his way up Albuquerque, and now to the big ball club. And now here is a youngster, Tom Seaver, with a heat on him facing Reggie Jackson.
Well, he started the year in AAA, and now he halfway through the year went to Dodger Stadium, joined the big club. Here he is in October, pitching in the World Series, and none other than Reggie Jackson. One of 60,000 people in New York City.
Jackson squared with the base runner Thurman Munson sitting out at second base.
I find that very interesting. Reggie turning on the bunt, runner on second base. Billy wants that runner at third base with 1 out. Reggie, the left-hand hitter, maybe doesn't think he can pull the ball. Now he lets it go.
2 balls and no strikes. Reggie actually turned and looked into the dugout. Ron Say is even with the bag at third.
If Reggie can do nothing else in this situation, he wants to get on the ball on the ground to the right side of second base.
Dawson comes outside, and it's 3 balls and no strikes to Reggie. Dawson, 25 years of age. Sosa still active in the pen. Low, ball 4. So now Tom Lasorda's pitching staff has a case of the wobble as Ron Say goes to the mound. Lasorda appearing anxious now as the Yankees have taken a 3-2 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning.
And Chambliss in consultation with Dick Hauser, the third base coach, the primary task to move those runners over.
Got to look for a bunt, Howard. This is a bunting situation. And bunt the ball down toward the third base line. Make Say field the ball, give up the out at first base. Probably walk Nettles.
Chris Chambliss. Nobody out. 1 run in. 2 runners aboard. Chris squares to bunt, pulls it away, takes the strike. Munson hopping around at second base, drew a throw from Steve Yeager. Munson at second. And Jackson at first. Chambliss, 1 strike count. Nobody out. Gets it down. Pitcher Rotten goes to third. They get the force on the lead runner, Thurman Munson, for the first out of the inning. Butted it too hard.
Yep.
Bunted it too hard and not enough on the baseline. This bunt has got to be down the line. You try to make the third baseman come in and field the ball. Pitcher's got to get over toward the line. And makes for an easy force out at third base. Say kind of bobbled this call. I don't know what he was doing. He was going to tag the runner. Might be a case of the jitters out there on the field right now.
Could be.
He did show
Yes, he
hesitation,
did.
didn't he? Little confusion.
Now with 1 out. Reggie Jackson at second. Chris Chambliss at first. Greg Nettles. Lance Robson's pitch is outside. Ball 1.
And the talk I had with Tommy John yesterday, Tom, he was emphasizing how when he first pitched against Nettles back when he was in the American League and Nettles was with Cleveland, Nettles impressed him with his ability to hit left-handers.
Ball 2, low. Lou Piniella, who hits right-handed, is on deck.
That was markedly true of Nettles when he first joined the Yankees. It has not been recently true of Nettles, however.
Bottom of the 8th, Yankees have taken the lead, 3-2. That pitch is low. And it's 3 balls and no strikes, and the young left-hander is in trouble. Got behind to Reggie Jackson and lost him. He did get Chambliss. Chambliss aboard at first on the fielder's choice. The play went to third to get Munson for the first out of the inning. As Chris coming off first and Reggie Jackson up at second, and 3 ball, no strike pitch to Greg Nettles. Ball 4, the bases are loaded with 1 out. And Tom Lasorda is on his way to the mound. With Lou Piniella coming to the plate, could be that Elias Sosa gets the call right here. But then it could be that they'll leave it. Let's see.
Well, I think they're going to bring Sosa in. I don't think there's any way they cannot bring
There he
right-hander
He's
in.
already done it.
So the third Dodger pitcher is on his way in from the bullpen as the Yankees trying to break it open here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Time is called. We'll be right back. Yankee Stadium on this cool October evening. New York City, and the line scored the ball game. You can see the Yankees now with 8 hits, all 8 of them coming off Don Sutton, 3 runs, committing no errors. The Dodgers with 2 runs on 4 hits, and Elias Sosa is now in the ball game. Sosa, during the course of the season, was an effective pitcher for the Dodgers. His record only 2-2, but he worked 63 2/3 innings with an earned run average of 1.97, and young Lance Robson leaves the ball game. He pitched to 3 batters. He walked 2 of them. He did get Chris Chambliss on the bunt. Chris goes into the book as a fielder's choice as a result of the play at third on Thurman Munson. In the playoffs against the Phillies in Game 1, Sosa was the losing pitcher. He worked 2 innings. He had a balk called in that ball game that figured in the total story of it. He worked in game number 3, worked 2/3 of an inning. So Elias Sosa is on in relief of Lance Robson, who was called on in relief of Don Sutton. The Yankees have the bases loaded. They have the lead at 3-2. And the base runners will set them for you. Reggie Jackson over at third base. There he is, talking to Dick Hauser. At second base, it is Chris Chambliss. And at first base, it is Greg Nettles, where Bobby Cox is talking to him.
Okay, we await the resumption of action. But again, a quick reminder, because of its overwhelming importance, 11:30 to 12 tomorrow morning, a ABC News special on the Space Shuttle test flight. Remember, Soviet Union failed in its effort today. What a boost this will be for the United States space program if the test is successful. 11:30 to 12 tomorrow morning. Now, the crisis in the ball game. The Yankees are run ahead. Bases filled.
Lou Piniella comes to the plate to face Elias Sosa. Bases are loaded. One out. One run in. And it's right here that you wonder what in the world would make anyone want to become a relief pitcher.
The one thing that the Dodgers have, maybe they have had a hole the last half of the season, has been their bullpen. Rick Rhodes' knuckler stopped knuckling, and they've had some trouble out of the bullpen.
Piniella swings and misses for strike one. And Steve Yeager goes to talk.
Sosa's a good power pitcher, got a good fastball, hard slider, doesn't change speeds very much. He's going to come right at you with his hard stuff. This is loaded. He can't do anything else. He's looking for a double play here. Going to throw a sinker. He wants a double play, get out of the inning.
Foul. Late, and it's 2 strikes. The last time we had a grand slam in the World Series was Dave McNally of the Baltimore Orioles, October 13, 1970. That's a dreadful thing to bring up, as Tom Lasorda and Red Adams, the Dodger pitching coach. It's a dreadful thing for the Dodger partisans to hear. Yankee crowd, some of the stones might rattle out of this old structure if he were to jerk one here. 2 strikes. Called it foul. Just outside of first base.
Lou Piniella, like Munson, has got the ability to go to right field. Those 2 players can go to right field as well as any 2 right-handed hitters I think that I've ever seen. They're outstanding at hitting the ball the other way.
Martin and Munson sure crossed everybody up in this inning, though.
I think on Munson's ball, they just got to pitch inside that he could pull.
All right, Sosa again ready to go at 2 strikes on Lou Piniella.
He can get a fastball in. Let's see.
Blew it fine. Elias Sosa went to the top shelf and brought a fastball, and Piniella had a full swing and couldn't get it.
There's nothing cute about that, Keith. I mean, it's right here. Here, hit it. You know, we're going to struck out, or we're going to get a double play. I'm not going to a corner. I want you, you're going to hit the best thing I've got to throw at you. And that's got to be the thing on his mind with the bases loaded.
Now you've got 2 out with the bases still loaded for Bucky Dent. Sosa trying to get the Dodgers off the hook and go to the top of the 9th, down by no more than 1. The Yankees lead here in the bottom of the 8th, 3-2. And Sosa, the 3rd Dodger pitcher. Lowered away to Bucky Dent. Jackson on 3rd. Chambliss on 2nd. Nettles on 1st. Dent has hit a grand slam. Did it in May 3rd against the Angels. First one of his career this year. Bucky, the crowd is saved. Sosa bowing his neck. And he's outside. Ball 2. Don Gullett is in the on-deck circle, just in case Dent does something with 2 out and the bases full. Strike.
And on the bench, they're saying, throwing it again. He is bringing it up there. This is not a time for finesse. This is not a time to be cute. You're throwing the ball that hard. You throw it right up to home plate and say, hit it. Billy Martin coaching his base runners, keep your eye on the ball, and they're sort of hoping to get out of this inning with just one run.
94 miles an hour, that last fastball. It is hit on the ground to Billy Russell, over to Davy Lopes, and they escape with a minimum amount of damage considering the circumstances. After 8 innings of play, the Yankees have the lead over the Dodgers 3-2. For the purposes of defense, Paul Blair in right field for the New York Yankees, going to the top of the 9th inning, the Yankees leading 3-2.
Billy Martin as the attendance for tonight's game. This is the largest crowd in Yankee Stadium this year. Billy Martin using all his personnel to the uttermost. The Dodgers, a dogged, persistent ball club, staying alive in the ball game, quelling the Yankee threat, the action.
As Don Gullett pitches to Dusty Baker, then Glenn Burke is scheduled, and then you have Steve Yeager. Then the pitcher's spot. Manny Mota has already come out of the dugout carrying a handful of bats for the Dodgers as Baker swings and fouls it away, and the count is 1-1 on Dusty.
Manny Mota on the record, one of the finest pinch hitters in baseball history.
Tom Lasorda has a bench that allows a lot of moving around in case the Dodgers could get a run here as Manny Mota loosens up. Then he could have Rick Mundy go to center field, and Dusty Baker fouls that away upstairs.
Tom Seaver up here in the booth with Keith Jackson and yours truly. And of course, he'll be with us throughout this series. Dick Tidrow working in the bullpen.
Along with Sparky Lyle, who's standing over there, throwing loosely, easily. 1-2 pitch inside at the hand.
Oh.
Got a moan from the pitcher.
Oh, you get a big moan from me. 93 miles an hour. Good movement. The pitch before that, Baker did not get around on. Gullett is still bringing it up to home plate. He wants this leadoff hitter right here. Get that first out of the inning. Don't let this guy get on base.
2-2, and Baker hits it high in the air to the right side, and it's going to drift and drift into the crowd.
Fastball still did not get around on it. He fouled 2 balls off to the right side. Don Gullett is very aware of that.
You have to come out of your shoes to get around on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Gullett's getting out of his shoes, getting it up there, that's for sure.
But Dusty stays alive.
Nettle guarding the line at third for the Yankees. Trying to keep him out of the corners, and the pitch to Baker is inside, and it's a full count, 3-2.
Yogi Berra, Billy Martin nervously walking around, clapping his hands. Nettle hugging that line, not wanting to give up the extra base hit.
Shot down the left side. It's into the corner for a base hit. Lou Piniella over in a hurry. Dusty Baker, a big turn and hangs on. And Piniella holds him to a single.
That's a good battle by Dusty Baker there. Ran the count to 3-2. Even the ball that looked like it was out of the strike zone. Couldn't get it into the corner enough for a double.
He has been a remarkable player all year long for the Dodgers. Peaking in the championship playoff series, as we have mentioned. He fought Gullett head-to-head, stayed alive, fouled consecutively on 2 fine fastballs, and wound up with the hit on a full count.
Now, Manny Mota, the premier pinch hitter in baseball. Game 3 of the playoffs, delivered a pinch hit double. That was such a major factor in the ultimate decision of what happened in the National League in the fight for the pennant for the Phillies.
He did it with 2 strikes on him. The Dodgers were but 1 strike away from losing the game, but they won it. A combative team. They keep coming at you.
Mota squares to bunt, turns instead and takes a swing, and they got Dusty Baker hung up between first and second base. He dives. Oh! Chambliss, and they call him safe. Baker gambling, went airborne, and Chambliss missed him.
And Chambliss knew it. He did not argue. He did not fight. The Yankees blew a big play.
Watch it here now. Chris, now watch Baker leave his feet. And Chambliss missed him, and Baker did not leave the base path. Tumbles in, grabs a hold of the bag, and he's safe.
Woo, that's a big out.
You have to wonder why Chambliss didn't dive at it.
You thought for a moment it was almost a frivolous waste of a potential run at first base as Mota squared to bunt and then took a chop at it, and suddenly Dusty was hung out on the end of a limb. Now Mota squares again, and the pitch is high and away, and it's 1-1.
Baker had made a mistake, a terrible mistake. He had overcommitted.
They're playing hit and run there, Howard. I mean, they're playing Butcher Boy to get the ball on the ground, and you have to have confidence in your hitter that he's a hitter like Mota. You can to get that ball on the ground. That's all part of being aggressive baseball.
You can't give the Dodgers that kind of second opportunity. Not normally.
I'm surprised that he's bunting. Lasorda wants to tie this game up.
Ball is fouled off, and Baker was running.
There's the hit and run. That's what they're trying to do on the first pitch. The first one was called a Butcher Boy. They're playing with a fake bunt and then chop the ball into the infield. You get those infielders moving around everywhere. If he had gotten the ball on the ground, you never know what's going to happen. Lasorda will try it. He'll try anything. He'll do anything to beat you.
Looks like Dusty broke a shoelace. That's Steve Yeager waiting in the on-deck circle. Manny Mota has the ability to hit the ball out as time is called while Thurman Munson goes to the mound to talk to Don Gullett. His last pinch hit of the regular season this year was a home run. Then in the playoffs, he just missed a home run when Greg Luzinski climbed up the wall, got a glove on the ball, and couldn't hang on. Fell for a double. Right, watch Baker on the right side of the picture, Mota the hitter on the left. 1-2 pitch. Ball is hit to the right side. All Blair. Put into the lineup by Billy Martin in replace of Reggie Jackson for the sake of defense. Blair makes the catch. You've got one out. Now it is Steve Yeager with Lee Lacy moving into the on-deck circle to hit in the pitcher's spot. Yeager in tonight's ball game grounded to short, rolled out to the second baseman, and fouled out to the first baseman. Yeager on the season, a .256 hitter with 16 home runs. One out. Baker on first. Yankees lead 3-2, top of the ninth, and the pitch is high. Lacy waiting in the on-deck circle. 1 for 1 in the championship series of the National League. A pinch hit. Yeager checks on it, and it's ball 2 outside.
Talking to Steve yesterday, he likes to hit at Gullett. He said the last 3 or 4 years that he faced him, when Gullett was still with the Cincinnati Reds, he hit him good. He's 0 for 3 here tonight. He's due, and he's got a count in his favor, 2 balls and no strikes. Steve is a good double play man. If he hits the ball on the ground, game number 1 would be to the Yankees.
Gullett now at 132 pitches. That's 133, and he's high and outside for a 3-ball and no strike count. And Billy Martin quickly is out of the dugout and on his way to the mound. We might see another pitcher right about here. As a matter of fact, I almost thought that Gullett might have indicated a little disgust and perhaps even made the kind of motion that summoned Billy from the dugout.
Possibly.
Very honest fellow, he'll tell you.
Well, for the Dodgers, there have been 2 key plays. There was the 6th inning play at home plate when Garvey stormed into the plate. The home plate umpire, out of position, called him out. He may have been. The umpire was still out of position. And now in the rundown on Dusty Baker, the opposite. There was escape as Chambliss failed to touch the base runners.
Well, Billy Martin made the decision to leave him. As you can see, Don Gullett nodding his head, saying, I've still got some. And so now we'll see. 3 balls and no strikes to Steve Yeager for the tying run at first base in Dusty Baker. He lost him high and away. Now the tying run walks to second base, and Steve Yeager takes up residence at first base. So there is Dusty Baker representing the tying run at second base, and here is Lee Lacy,
who has also gotten some big hits, as you know, this year.
Sure.
He's tough.
Lacy, as I told you, had a pinch hit appearance in the playoff series against the Phillies and went 1 for 1. And Steve Yeager now has been called from the field, and we have a pinch runner. Rafael Landeskog, an infielder who came up to the Dodgers when Teddy Martinez went down with an injured leg, and Billy Martin now has decided to make a pitching change. Lee Lacy scheduled to come to the plate as the pinch hitter.
I'll tell you one thing, Tom Seaver, as Vela comes out to a deserved ovation.
That man pitched a fine ball game here tonight. Didn't know if he'd be able to pitch. Said he wasn't sure if he was 100%. Went out there and gave everything in his head. Ended up to home plate about 95 to 96 miles an hour all night. Threw about 140 pitches. On a tender shoulder, he did a fine job for Billy Martin and all the Yankees.
And of a cut with the whole memorable history that we talked about, that Keith mentioned as he opened our telecast tonight. All of the years, the great plays. Lavagetto breaking up the Bevins no-hitter. John Frito's catch, which we've mentioned. Mickey Owen missing Hugh Casey's third strike on Tommy Henry. Mantle's colossal grand slammer in Brooklyn in '53. Amarosa's catch on Barrett. What a history between these two teams. Lawson's perfect game. And here comes the man who Martin would trust his own life with. And why not? Look at the records this year. 13 and 5, 26 saves, 2.17 ERA.
So while we watch Sparky Lyle crank up, let me tell you about what they're going to be doing in Fayetteville, Arkansas, Saturday. Oh, they'll be roaring and stomping 12:30 Eastern Time, and we invite you to join us. For Texas and Arkansas, the Longhorns rising up to knock down the Oklahoma Sooners down in the Cotton Bowl. Undefeated Texas against undefeated Arkansas. So enjoy NCAA football over most of these ABC stations this Saturday at 12:30 Eastern. One of the things I'm just terribly curious about is they ever found the hog. The Razorback got loose, took off for the Ozarks, and they've been looking for it ever since. Right here, Sparky Lyle is looking for one more save in his brilliant baseball career. The book on Don Gullett, 8 innings. 8 1/3, actually, with 5 hits. Struck out 6, and he walked 6. The Dodgers dug out, anxious, with a tying run in the person of Dusty Baker up at second base. Rafael Landeskog running for Steve Yeager at first base. The Dodgers have plenty of catching. They have Jerry Grote, and they also have Johnny Oates. So they have 3 outstanding catchers on their roster.
They really do. Jerry Grote, Tom Seaver's catcher through all his years with the Mets. And Tom, you've already stated your opinion of Jerry, the best catcher you ever pitched to, right?
Well, I haven't pitched a very many, but he was an outstanding defensive catcher. There's my buddy Jerry Grote, the Texan. Has a ranch down there in San Antonio.
All right, here's Sparky Lyle now, who won 2 of the 5 games for the Yankees against Kansas City, and he's facing Lee Lacy, a right-handed batter, and Lyle is on target with his first pitch for strike 1. It's a 3-2 ball game. Yankees lead, Dodgers at bat, top of the 9th, 1 out. You have 2 men aboard. The tying run at second base. Dusty Baker has good speed. Rafael Landeskog at first base can fly. Hard shot into left field. Here comes Baker around third base. Vanilla up for the ball. Landeskog overruns second, but the game is even as Baker comes bumping home from second. And Lacy does his job.
And this is what I meant about this Dodger team. You can't give them anything. They come through in the clutch if you open the door for them. And Lee Lacy did it there, the way Manny Motor and Vic Davalillo did it last Friday.
Now you have the go-ahead potential at second base in Landeskog, with Lacey at first base. And the batter now is Davy Lopes, the top of the order. A 3-3 ball game in the top of the ninth inning. And Sparky Lyle pitches to Lopes inside.
They are tough. I'm telling you, they're a scrappy group of players right there. They're playing tough tonight.
Mike Garman and Doug Rao now in the Dodger bullpen. And time is called. No pitch. Davy Lopes has been known to play little games with you. He'll exercise every opportunity you give him.
Pitcher takes too much time. He'll call a timeout. Back out of there.
Ball is hit in the air to right center field for Mickey Rivers. And Landeskog, halfway down, retreats back to second base.
And here's the next guy, Keith, who can get you in the clutch, who comes back from fielding adversity time and again with a key hit. Remember, this is the fellow who last Friday hit one right back up the middle to win the game. There you go, just what I was talking about.
They give him a little bit of room in right center. Russell hits it up the middle to Mickey Rivers. He hit it on the nose, but right at Rivers. And Sparky Lyle comes in and stops the Dodger threat. But going to the home half of the ninth inning, it's even 3-3. Back with more after this word from our local station. Mike Garman is now on in relief for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He will be the fourth Dodger pitcher in the ball game. Sutton started, and Don's now off the hook.
What a ball game this has been. First, the Garvey out at home playing the sixth. Then the Yanks could have blown the whole thing open in the bottom of the eighth. Bases loaded, one out, Piniella up. He fanned, and Dent grounded out. And then in the top of the ninth, Baker trapped on the base pass. And Dusty Baker has knocked the late Jackie Roosevelt Robinson. Sparky Lyle coming to the plate. The point being, you'd expect Baker to be caught in a rundown. He wasn't. He escaped Chambliss's tag. That inched the door open for the Dodgers, and they came through and tied.
Sparky Lyle hitting. That shows you how much respect Billy Martin has for his ability to get people out. Leading off the inning and hitting with Mike Garman pitching to Jerry Grody and Rick Mundy now playing in center field for the Dodgers. And quickly Garman has a 2-strike count. Mike Garman, you can see from that, beat the Yankees as a starter with Boston back in '69. He came over to the Dodgers. Bunt is fouled away. He came with Rick Mundy from the Chicago Cubs in the trade that sent Bill Buckner to Chicago. And there were a lot of people who thought the big right-hander from Idaho might be a sort of a bonus in the deal. Rick Mundy now in center field, as you can see. Rick has had his troubles this year, and Mike Garman has done very well.
You know, the interesting thing there, Keith, that if we did have the DH tonight, you wouldn't have to worry about that first out missing.
That's right. So Sparky Lyle fouling it is gone, and Mickey Rivers is up there now.
People talk about, well, he should have hit for Lyle in the bottom of the ninth inning, leading off. You know, they'll get on Billy Martin. That's one of the things that makes baseball interesting.
Two strikes very quickly on Mickey Rivers.
Mickey swung from the heels on that. The pitch 90 miles an hour. From a Dodger point of view, you got to be careful with this fella. He's got surprising power. 11 home runs.
Struck him out. Well, Mr. Garman looks impressive, doesn't he?
Really did on that.
He's getting it up there. He's a big man. He's a darn big man. And he can get that fastball to home plate.
Willie Randolph, the batter for New York, in the bottom of the ninth inning with a score even at 3-3. Big Mike doing a little psych job on himself.
He is excited, isn't he? Look at him. He says, I'm here at Yankee Stadium, folks. I love it. World Series time.
Strike.
Yes, sir. And he's throwing strikes, too. Really, a pitcher's got to come out of that bullpen and throw strikes.
Low with that one. Lives in Wilder, Idaho.
Grody look at his glove. Couldn't believe he missed it.
A 3-3 ball game, I'll guarantee you nobody has left. This has been a white knuckler almost from the very beginning. Feet on the ground for Billy Russell at shortstop. And so Mike Garman comes in and does a tap dance on the Yankees in the bottom of the 9th inning, getting them in order very quickly. So after 9 complete innings of play, it's all even at 3. Well, gentlemen, we're about to have the 38th extra inning game in World Series play. The last one we had was October 21, 1975, between Boston and Cincinnati. Boston beat them 7-6.
Well, I don't want to trouble you, Keith, but in case you've got travel plans between now and tomorrow night, the longest World Series game in history took place on October 9th, 1916, when the Red Sox defeated the Dodgers 2-1. October 9, 1916. Tom Seaver and I were there.
It's just when you graduated from law school.
Reggie Smith, Ron Say, Steve Garvey, Reggie's wife sitting right there, anxious, obviously. Sparky Lyle low with his first pitch to Reggie Smith.
Sparky's got a good slider. That's his money pitch. And he keeps it down in the strike zone. He is tough.
Ball is hit high and deep to left center field, but it's a long way out there. And Mickey Rivers backs up about 400 feet and makes the catch.
They waved to that one at Fenway.
They might wave to that one at Dodger Stadium, too. But we are not at Dodger Stadium.
Or at Fenway.
And Ron Say is at bat for the Dodgers, with Garvey now moving to the on-deck circle. Don't forget, this fellow hit 30. He can lose it. Both bullpens quiet. Swing and a miss.
Don't forget, too, looking ahead, Thurman Munson leads off for the Yankees, but Reggie Jackson will not be batting second. Paul Blair will be.
Get on the ground to Bucky Dent. Ball takes a little bit of a skid on him, but he handles it well. Two down. Bases clean. Steve Garvey, the Dodger first baseman, who has a bunt single in 3 trips. This might be the time, as we come to the end of the '77 season, where Garvey will hitch up the belt a little and reach back for the little extra that Tom Lasorda had asked for, and Garvey hit 33 home runs this year. That pitch, strike.
Don't forget, we expect more of same tomorrow night as you look at lovely Mrs. Steve Garvey. Catfish Hunter taking the mound after a long period of idleness for the Yankees.
Strike 2. Greg Nettles almost on the line at third. 2-strike pitch to Garvey, outside and high.
One of the few fastballs you see him throw, and threw it out of the strike zone, too. Did not want to give that pitch in the strike zone for Steve to hit. And I guess slider here. Another fastball.
They call him out. They appeal at first base. Ed Sudol says yes, he went around. And so Lyle gets the Dodgers in order in the top of the 10th inning. Have another look at it. Just a matter of whether or not he went through the strike zone and exercised the wrists, and you have a look. Look like it.
He is way around.
Appeal to the first baseman, Sudol, and Garvey's gone. So we're still even after 9 1/2. Back with more baseball after this word from our local station. Here at the bottom of the 10th inning, it'll be Thurman Munson, Paul Blair, and Chris Chambliss. Munson has singled and doubled. He has scored a run, and he had knocked in the go-ahead run for the Yankees in the bottom of the 8th inning. And the first pitch from Mike Garman is inside. The Yankees signed him off the Kent State campus.
Keith Gorman reminds me of Mark Littell of the Royals in build and the way he throws.
Inside with the hand, ball 2. Mark has certainly had his troubles with this crowd, hasn't he?
Yep.
That pitch is low. So once again, the Yankees are very close to getting the leadoff man aboard here in the bottom of the 10th inning.
He came in there last inning. Garman threw strikes. Comes in now. He's 3-0. Don't want to get that leadoff hitter on. You'll see Paul Blair bunting the winning run at second base. Yes, sir.
Thurman Munson walks.
Things that make managers gray. Leadoff hitters that get on and walk in the pitcher.
Paul Blair has been a very serviceable player for the Yankees. He started in the Mets organization, Tom, you might remember.
Certainly did.
They let him go. He was a startlingly good outfielder for Baltimore for a lot of years. Got beamed at the plate. Puts the foot in the bucket. Openly fearful, according to many. But he's gotten some very big hits, including a hit in the winning 9th inning against Kansas City.
He pulls the bat away on the bunt attempt, takes it low for ball 1.
He's a good bunter. He told me that he was never so nervous in his whole baseball career as he was when he came to the plate in the 9th inning Sunday against Kansas City.
This is his 5th World Series. The bunt is down. They're going to go to second. Get it!
Oh!
Jerry Grody had time, and he fired it.
What a throw by Grody.
There's my man, Jerry Grody. Watch him come out of there. There's nobody that comes out from behind home plate faster than Jerry Grody. I've seen this play 100 times, bare hand, and watch the throw to second. He's like a lion coming out from behind home plate.
Oh,
And throws a strike. A strike to second base, no question. And that man worked for me for 10 years. You don't think I wasn't in heaven?
Now it is Chris Chambliss at the plate.
A lot of us thought he made you.
A lot of you may be right.
1 out, 1 on. Blair on at first base. And Garman goes over there.
But what we have seen last inning and thus far this inning is the Dodgers making the plays they have to make.
Winning run is on first base and Paul Blair. The pitch to Chris Chambliss is inside. Ball 1. Chris taking a good long look at Dick Hauser in the third base coaching box. Now steps in. They go back to first. Blair goes in on his knees.
Campanis made another great acquisition when he got Grody right before the trading deadline. He was worried about Yeager getting hurt.
Garman is low. 2 balls and no strikes.
Jerry wasn't catching every day over with the Mets. John Stearns was catching. Jerry plans to retire after the season. Knew he'd be available. He just picked up one of the best defensive catchers in the game of baseball. In his prime, probably the best.
Charlie Huff, the knuckleballer, is now up in the bullpen for the Dodgers along with Doug Rouse. Chambliss hits it to Garvey. They go to second, get 1. Back to first, no. So they've been able to kill off that lead runner twice now. You've got 2 out.
We talked about that before, Keith. The Dodgers being able to do the fundamentals.
That's
they can
right.
do everything.
Got to move those runners along. You fail to do that, inevitably, it costs you. Look at it again.
Garvey has a little trouble getting the ball out of his glove, it looked like. But he did make a good throw. Inside the bag, right there where Russell will handle it. Chambliss, of course, beat the throw out at first.
So now the speed is gone in the person of Blair. You have Chambliss. He's not slow-footed by any means, but he does not possess the speed of a Blair. The batter is Greg Nettles. Greg Nettles, as you can see, is hitless in the ball game tonight.
37 home runs on the year.
Little check roller out toward the pitcher. Grody picks it up, guns it, and the inning is over. And so the Yankees, despite getting the leadoff man on here in the bottom of the 10th inning, are now able to move him around, and we're still at 3 going to the 11th. Jerry Grody getting rid of the catching gear and putting on a batting glove to come up and take his cuts in this inning. Dusty Baker will lead off.
There's my buddy, Jerry Grody.
Jerry Grody's a tough cuss. He's never gotten along in a public relations sense with the press in New York. Lets everybody know exactly how he feels. Nothing false about him. Never a good hitter for percentage, but a dangerous hitter. One who's gotten a lot of big hits for the Mets through the years.
Sparky Lyle on the mound. A pitch to Dusty Baker, who led off with a single in the ninth inning and came around to score the tying run. Brought home by Lee Lacy. Rick Mundy into the on-deck circle. He's now playing center field in place of Glenn Burke, and then Jerry Grody. Dodgers scored twice at the top of the first inning. Yankees came back with one. Here's the pitch to Baker, and it's low inside for ball one. The Yankees then came along to finally get even and then go ahead. And that's where we are as the Dodgers came back with that run in the ninth inning, all even at 3-3 with a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Dusty Baker.
This is the man who made that run possible.
Baker hits it on the ground. Nettles coming in, a long way to come. Barehanded. Oh, got him. Greg Nettles was playing him deep down the line at third, had a long way to come to get him.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have seen some superb defensive play here. Last inning and right here, the top of the 11th inning. Baker right on top of it. Another barehanded play by Nettles. Again, I say, who has made himself an outstanding third baseman. Just a super play. That's a pitcher's dream, a super play.
Nettles has had a tough night at the plate tonight. All season long when in batting slumps, his defensive play never suffered. He is a professional.
Rick Mundy playing center field, fouls it back. Rick Mundy, who's had a lot of back trouble this year. He spent a lot of hours hanging upside down in a contraption that eases the pain on the lower back.
Same problem you've got.
Mm-hmm. Fouled away, and it's very quickly strike two on Rick Mundy. Native of Santa Monica, California, came out of Arizona State. Charlie Finley got him. Then he wound up with the Cubs.
One of my teammates with the Alaska Goaltenders, along with Greg Nettles. Back in my college days. Yeah, Rick and I played together up at Fairbanks.
Fairbanks, Alaska. Pops it, foul, out of play. Count holds at 2 strikes. Jerry Grody on deck here in the top of the 11th inning. Opening game of the 1977 World Series, and it may be like this through the whole thing. Mundy goes around, strikes out. Wanted to check on it and couldn't.
Bad cut and a bad high slider, it looks like to me.
So Mundy's gone. 2 out. Here's Jerry Grody now doing the catching for the Los Angeles Dodgers. In that first game of the National League playoffs, he walked and scored on Ron Say's grand slam, but here he popped it up to Chris Shankless from fair ground, and Chris makes the catch for the 3rd out. And so the Dodgers go in order in the top of the 11th inning. And the score remains 3-3 with Piniella, Dent, and Lyle scheduled up for the Yankees in the bottom of the 11th inning. So Mike Garman, if he's pitching, will be working to the bottom 3rd of the order. There is a look at the old ball yard with Mike Garman out on the mound now, cranking up. And Billy Martin got to make some decisions, maybe not. He's got Piniella scheduled to come to the plate. Right-handed batter against a right-handed pitcher. Then it would be Bucky Dent, and then the pitcher, Sparky Lyle. Tom Lasorda, on the other hand, is spending time talking to Red Adams, the Dodger pitching coach.
Piniella, of course, will hit. If he were ever thinking of removing Piniella for a pinch hitter, the time would have been with the bases filled to put up Roy White to lessen the possibility of a double play. But Pinella's been too good a percentage hitter all year to pinch hit for. And so Lou stayed up there, and he fanned. That was when the Yanks could have blown open the game in the 8th inning. As for making decisions, Martin's had that problem all year long. Nothing but decisions. The Yankees running a daily soap opera for an entire season. They ran it in the daytime, they ran it in prime time, and they're doing it again tonight.
Now the big right-hander from Wilder, Idaho will try to get him out as he faces the bottom third of the order. The Yankee pen is quiet, which means Lyle will hit. But it all depends on what happens here, I suspect, with Mr. Piniella, because they can crank him up in a hurry if they have to. Here's the first pitch to Lou, and he beats it on the ground. Billy Russell, long way to go, can't get it. And it's into center field for a base hit.
Now do you take him out? You get Lou Piniella out of there. You get a pinch run for him?
I would. I'd get Roy White in there.
Russell playing way around in the hole, couldn't get to the roller up the middle. They play for Piniella to pull. Simply bounce one right up the middle.
They played him right.
No pinch runner coming out for Piniella yet.
And no action in the Yankee pen. Lyle is out in the on-deck circle with Bucky Dent standing at the plate. Dent squares, bunts it. Brody out. Going to go to second. Get him. He made that play in the second inning.
Well, Jerry Grody's kept this cub in, kept the Dodgers in here. He's cut men down at second base twice.
Well, if you're
incredible.
If you're going to bunt with Grody behind the plate, you got to bunt 8 to 10 feet out. Otherwise, you got no shot.
You got to make somebody else field the ball. Get the ball out in front. Make the first baseman field the ball. A very bad bunt. And he's out easy there at second base. Piniella obviously disgusted with it.
How easily he makes that. He's like a cat pouncing on that ball.
Dent on first base on the fielder's choice, and here's Sparky Lyle. He turns to bunt and fouls it away.
They're going to do this till they get it right.
Brody will psych them out.
Brody's up there to say, well, go ahead, try it again.
Rao and Roden remain in the Dodger pen. Sparky's got it down, but he's got it fouled. Brody out in a hurry to scoop it up just in case it hits something and kick back in.
I can hear Phil Rizzuto saying now, I taught them how to bunt spring training. Why didn't they learn?
Hardy hasn't done it all year. He's done the best job so far. He hasn't made it out yet.
To punctuate some of the history on Jerry Grody, he came over to the Mets August 31 for 2 minor leaguers and some money. Randy Rogers and Dan Smith and cash. Missed it, he's gone. So Sparky Lyle tries to drag the last time he was at bat. Fouled off for a strikeout. Now he just flat misses one, and he's gone again.
Baseball is no different from any other sport. You squander opportunities, you fail to capitalize. Percentage-wise, it catches up with you in the outcome of the contest. Second straight inning, they got the leadoff man on, couldn't advance.
Now it's Mickey Rivers, top of the order. In the bottom of the 11th inning with the score tied at 3-3. And Rivers hits it high in the air down the left side for Dusty Baker. Inning is over. So the Yankees, as Howard said, get the leadoff man aboard, but can't do anything with him. And so the score remains after 11 complete innings of play at Yankee Stadium. Dodgers 3 and the Yankees 3. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, as we go to the top of the 12th inning, Vic Davalillo, who came out of the Mexican League in August of this year and became a considerable figure in Los Angeles, particularly in Game 3, as he laid down a bunt in the game against the Philadelphia Phillies, and he was involved in a comeback victory, but he beats this one right out to Willie Randolph for out number 1. Vic never was too patient.
Oh, but he's an amazing fellow. When they went back to the minors back in '74, he was 38. Now it's 77, and he's still 38. So he's an amazing fellow.
I went back in an old minor league record book that I have laying around the house. I'll guarantee you he's 41.
I don't believe he'll tell you that.
No. Davy Lopes now top of the order for the Dodgers. In the top of the 12th. 3-3 ball game. Sparky Lyle. Ball one. Just misses the outside corner with a slider, and it is ball two to Davy Lopes with Bill Russell on deck.
He doesn't want this guy on base. This guy will haunt you.
Ball is hit to short center. Might be trouble. Rivers in a hurry. Ball hung a little bit. Nicky Rivers, with that great speed of his, able to bring it down. And now it is Bill Russell. 43 strikeouts and 634 at-bats.
I didn't get him, I know that.
He tripled in the first inning. He looks, ball one.
You know, one thing, Keith, about the Yankees getting that leadoff runner on and then not being able to win the ball game, where they're short, possibly, is in the bullpen, and Sparky's got to come out and throw a couple extra innings. And this may not tell in today's game, but we get down into game 3 and game 4. What's happening right here tonight may be a factor in those third and fourth ball games.
2 balls and no strikes to Russell. 2-1.
He's really been working that inside, just missing twice and connecting that time and pitching to Russell.
Reggie Smith is waiting on deck with 2 out. And Russell hits that one right at Willie Randolph. It should be and is out number 3. So the Dodgers are gone in the top of the 12th inning. If it goes to 13, they'll have the heavyweights in the Dodger batting order. So, after 11 and a half, 3-3 ball game. Back with more after this word from our local station. Here's the 5th Dodger pitcher of the night, Rick Rhoden. His record on the season you can see. In playoff game number 3, he pitched 4 1/3 innings, 2 hit ball, allowed no runs against the Philadelphia Phillies when he came on in relief of Bert Hooton. So he pitched very well in that ball game. And now the hard-throwing right-handers in to see what he can do here.
Sorry, Keith, he did more. He pitched magnificently in that Friday ball game. He's a remarkable competitor anyway.
While he is warming up, let's recap the scoring for you. Davy Lopes walked to lead the game. Billy Russell tripled him home. Then Reggie Smith walked. And eventually it fell to Steve Garvey to bring Reggie Smith home. And the Dodgers led 2-0. Then in the bottom of the first inning, the Yankees. Thurman Munson singled. Reggie Jackson singled. And Chris Chambers singled. And Munson came home. It was 2-1. The Yankees came back to get their second run in the bottom of the 6th inning on Willie Randolph's home run. Then they got their third run of the ball game to take the lead in the 8th inning. But the Dodgers came back at the top of the 9th. With Dusty Baker, the key man in that one. And it was 3-3, and that's where we are right now in the bottom of the 12th inning as Willie Randolph is at the plate. He will be followed by Thurman Munson and Paul Blair. On a drop in the corner. Randolph stands at second. So once again, the Yankees have the leadoff man on, but this time he is at second base.
Willie decided to do it all by himself. If nobody else can get anybody to second, he's going to go on his own.
Well, now it's Munson's job to get him to third, at least.
We're going to walk Thurman Munson.
I certainly
would with Paul Blair up, and then they'll have to have Blair try to bunt again, and there's the Grody problem.
I think we've solved this thing for Tom Lasorda. Another tough situation, a tough hitter coming up, scoring position. You can't pitch to, you just can't pitch to him here. No way. Jerry Grody giving instructions out there to Rick Rhoden. I've heard this speech a few times in my day, and I listened very intently, I tell you.
Doug Rau in the bullpen continuing to throw. So now here's the Yankee captain, who scored the first run of the ball game, knocked in the second run of the ball game. Actually knocked in the third run of the ball game. So he's been very much involved in 2 of the 3 runs scored by New York. They will walk him.
you think he went out there and talked to him and said, "Well, Walker, make this guy bunt, and I'll get
The
at
runner at
least
third.
one out, the third, and maybe two if I can get out quick enough."
Knowing Grody, that stubborn-headed guy, maybe three.
You and he had a few words in the clubhouse a couple of times, didn't you?
Many years ago.
Yeah.
I had said that he was a doleful hitter. He took exception.
Here's Paul Blair now with the winning run at second base in the person of Willie Randolph. Thurman Munson is at first base. Munson doesn't matter in this particular instance. Randolph is the man. 3-3 ball game, the opening game of the 1977 World Series. My goodness.
I don't know about you. I'm just watching Grody.
I'm waiting for something to happen. He'll make something happen.
Roden sets. Garvey looking right in at Paul Blair, can shake hands with him, and it's low and away, ball one. When Roden goes to his set position, Garvey comes creeping in from first. Roden's got the responsibility of handling anything down the third baseline within reasonable reach. Got to go that way. Garvey covering on the first base side of the infield. It's 1 ball and 1 strike now.
Little conference with Dick Hauser.
Again, the play here, Keith. Talked about it before earlier in the ball game. First and second, nobody out. Hitter's job is to bunt the ball firm enough to bring that third baseman off of the bag. You're trying to get the runner at second base down to third. Giving up the out at first.
A 1-1 pitch. Garvey coming in. Misses. 2 balls and 1 strike. There's Ron Say. There's the man that has to make a quick decision.
He's the man in the cat box. You know which way to go, in or back. He's got to make his judgment very quickly if the ball is bunted.
Foul. And
Almost.
Two.
Almost got it out where Jerry could handle it.
Blair threw a body block on Grote. In the meantime, it's 2 strikes. So it's a very heavy burden on Mr. Blair.
Well, here's a moment of trivia for you that Paul Blair in spring training had 72 consecutive fair bunts against the batting machine. The batting machine is not out there now. That's a hard throw.
The batting machine is still down in Florida.
That's right. 2-2. Rote to Blair. Swing.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Here comes Randolph.
That'll do it.
Can't get it. Yankees win the ball game 4-3.
What a ball game this was. And for Billy Martin, again, the placement of personnel worked out. He put Blair in for defensive reasons in the ninth. It was Blair who came through with the game-winning hit, just as he came through with a big hit in the Sunday and final game against Kansas City in the ninth inning. 2 brilliantly matched teams in a superbly played ball game. No errors by either team of commission. One of omission by Chris Chambliss. He's the winning hit again.
Blair with a 2-2 count. Rick Roden looks back at second base where the winning one is located. Blair jumps on the pitch, drills it to left field. Willie Randolph came pumping around third. Rick Roden is the losing pitcher. Sparky Lyle is the winning pitcher. And the final score in this first game of the 1977 World Series, Yankees 4, Dodgers 3, and Paul Blair, who was so important in the Yankees winning the American League pennant, delivers the blow, and he is the man of the moment. As you look down on Yankee Stadium where the people are still standing almost in awe as to what they have just seen. Yankees win the opening game by a score of 4-3.